Chicago, the home opener for the Bears against the Green Bay Packers. Closing seconds, goal to go. Suey fumbles. Bears lose 16-9. Game number 2 in San Francisco. Goal to go, and the man you most want to have the football, Mr. Walter Payton, fumbles on the 2. His third fumble loss in 2 games. The Bears lose 28-17. What to do about 0-2? The Tribune tells the story. Coach Neil Armstrong under pressure. The players had a meeting, and Dan Hampton talked for the players.
We discussed a few things, and we got to the point where we're mad. We're very upset with the way things are going, and we're going to do something about it.
To do something about it, the Bears must beat the injury-riddled Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Doug Williams, the brilliant young quarterback with no rushing game, is having to throw behind an injury-riddled offensive line. Here he hits Eckwood for a long gainer against Kansas City. Back under a furious rush from Kansas City hits Kevin House, his long-distance receiver. Over 20 yards a catch average and a 55-yard touchdown this year. Chicago against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The old stadium will rock and roll today. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 38th consecutive sellout for Chicago Bear football at Soldier Field. I don't know whether they come to bury the Bears or praise them, but I'm Tom Brookshire with Johnny Morris. And Johnny, the Bears have got to use every play in the playbook today. Are they going to come out winging?
Well, they have to. They have lost 2 games. They've got to play a good football game today. We're going to see Vince Evans, I think, throw a lot of short and medium-range passes because Tampa Bay drops off. We're going to see a lot of Walter Payton as usual. He carried 27 times last week. He'll be ready.
Now, Tampa Bay's hurting, aren't they?
Oh, I talked to John McKay down on the sidelines before the game, and he said he just can't believe it. All these offensive linemen are hurt. He says it's tough to run an offense when you got so many people hurt. And you got to understand his position as they have had to go with Doug Williams, who has thrown the ball a lot. In fact, he came up with a great quote. He says, we may have the first NFL game where a team throws on every down. I don't think we're going to quite get that, but John McKay will pull some birds out of the hat as we're ready for the kickoff.
All right, John, and that's the most nervous I've ever seen John McKay in some 20 years that I've known him. He has a lot of injuries. Garo Yepremian will kick off. You know him. It's his 176th game for this little fellow from Cyprus. A left footer, and of course David Williams waits on the Bear 1-yard line. The game is underway. The Bears must win this football game. Williams at the 9. Williams, pretty good block on the wedge. Williams gets out to the 27-yard line. Good return by number 22, and the Bears will offensively put the ball in play. Carter made the stop for Tampa Bay. Bears offense. Evans, Walter Payton still looking for that 100-yard game this year. Suey, the second-year man from state at fullback. Ricky Watson, Bashnagel, 2 good receivers. Albrecht, Noah Jackson, Neil Sorey, Lick, and Bob Fisher is back at tight end. We'll check that Tampa Bay defense in just a moment. Here's Vince Evans, his first snap. I wouldn't be surprised to see option passes by Payton, everything in the playbook today. 1st and 10. It's a screen out to Ricky Watts. Gets one good block. Good recovery, though, by Tampa Bay out to about the 31. Richard Wood, the linebacker, making the tackle. Little flag dropped in there. Well, that's news coming out with a screen, John. Huh?
First down pass, a little rollout by Vince Evans as he throws a wide receiver screen, but there is a penalty against the Chicago Bears. Robin Earl is in at tight end for Chicago, and obviously I think Tampa Bay is going to take the penalty, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's Jim Tunney, one of the best officials in the league. He's the umpire. Pat Harder's also working. Sid Seaman, line judge is Dick McKenzie. Pat Knight, side judge Gil Mace, and Johnny Greer.
Personal foul, clipping, number 65, half the distance to the goal line, first down.
Noah Jackson.
Half the distance, and now the Bears are in trouble right now. This defense, when healthy, is extremely good. They play the 34. Bill Kolar, and of course, Leroy Selman. Here are those great linebackers. Norris Thomas, Neil Colsey, Cedric Brown, and Young Holt, the rookie at corner. They are young in the secondary and hurt in the secondary. First down and 23. Suey taking the ball off the right side. It'll be 2nd down, and David Logan made the stop, the nose tackle.
And we'll keep a close eye on Leroy Selman. As you know, he pulled a hamstring last week, and he said, I want to start, Coach. He wanted to give it a try. And if he plays this whole game, I'll be surprised. As you know, a hamstring injury, when you pull a hamstring, you're in trouble. But he's given it all he's got. I just hope he doesn't pull it any worse.
Well, they said the Tampa Bay trainer, Oxley, they said it looked like a MASH segment down there. Everybody, about 5 people with pulled groins and hamstrings. Ricky Watson, Bashnagel, all the receivers on 2nd down and 20. Ball's on the 18. Evans from a pro set offense. He's going for Walter Payton, who is hit immediately at the 21-yard line. Very quickly by Hugh Green, the number 1 draft, the All-American from Pittsburgh.
Cedric Brown also in on the tackle as Walter Payton 7 receptions for 40 yards so far this year. And, of course, they don't like to get him in that kind of a situation. They like to throw him the short passes, but they want him to be able to turn around so that he can do some running. And these Tampa Bay linebackers and defensive backs like to unload on these short passes, and they play football.
How about that pop by Hugh Green?
Yes.
He had 12 tackles a week ago against Kansas City, and he's only a rookie. Wait till he grows up. 3rd down and 16. The ball on the 22. A pro-set offense. They got a slot right. Marjorum's in there. Going for Marjoram, who's open and almost has the first down at the 36-yard line. The number 3 draft out of Stanford, hit by Billy Caesar, who's in there in the nickel defense for Tampa Bay. A good-looking throw by Evans. If they pick up a first down, it'll be quite a boost, but I don't believe so.
As you look at Ken Marjoram out of Stanford, look at that record he had at Stanford. They're just a little bit short of the first down, so apparently the Bears are going to kick. Bob Parsons, who is 10 of 11 on fake punts as far as completing passes. As you always have to be alert when Bob Parsons is punting.
Wouldn't be too bad a time to do it right now. Don't want to save it for December. It's a good punt. Hang time is about average for Parsons, who's a very good punter. That's Theo Bell, and Bell is dropped by number 37.
I don't think Theo knew which way to go there. He was going to go try and make the picket and decided, well, I better turn up the field, make sure we have the ball. As Tampa Bay, first down, first possession, as Doug Williams will bring his troops out.
Bob Fisher and McClendon, the running back, went down on the special teams. The special teams have been pretty darn active for the Bears. And McKay's team has had trouble with punting and doing normal things like that.
Especially last week.
All right, Doug Williams, the offensive quarterback. He's got Eckwood behind him. And Wilder, the number 2 draft from Missouri. They're in the eye. Here's that. Eckwood breaks out open over the 30 to 35-yard line. Wow, on first down, running right off the right side. Terry Schmidt made the tackle.
Out of the I formation, and John McKay, he fooled us again. He said he might not run. In first down, he runs the ball as Eckwood follows his blocking and just turns right up the field and takes it down the field. Look at Jimmy Giles down there blocking. Finally, Terry Schmidt is in on the tackle. A first down for Tampa Bay. They couldn't do that running all last week.
They like to run against the 4, and Doug Williams seemed to bring them out that time. A 1st and 10 now on the 37. Tampa still in the I formation. He's back to throw at first pass. He's got a great arm. He finds Giles, the tight end, over the 50. Gets away from one tackler. He gets to the 43-yard line. Giles, a 240-pounder with speed. Walterscheid makes the tackle.
Well, it was the play-action pass off the eye, and Williams dropped back, had plenty of time, and you're going to see Giles come across the center of your screen, at the top of your screen there, and 57, Lee Kuntz is chasing him, and he'll miss the tackle here as he goes low. He looked around too late, and the pass is complete before Kuntz could react, and finally, Jimmy Giles is brought down by Lenny Walterscheid. First down, Tampa Bay. We got some offense in this game.
That's only the 3rd catch for Giles so far this year, but if he gets hot, he can really burn you. Now, this offense has Charlie horses and everything else, but right now it's moving. Doug Williams is healthy. Eckwood's the tailback. Jimmy Wilder's the young guy from Missouri who's doing a good job at fullback. Gordon Jones, and look out for Kevin House.
Now, here's where the adjustments are. Revis has been hurt. We didn't get too good a look at it, but there are a lot of changes in that offensive line.
Sanders is in for Hanna at right tackle. Only Steve Wilson is that basic starter in there right now. Inside trap play off the eye. Eckwood gets 2 or 3. John, why is the Bear defense suddenly giving up so much rushing yardage? What's happened there, do you think?
Well, that's a good question. Nobody seems to know the real answer why. They're just not making the tackles. As you look at the defensive line, it has always had success against Tampa Bay. Hampton, Osborne, Alan Page in his final year, starting his 205th consecutive game. There's Otis Wilson, Lee Kuntz at the linebackers, and there's the defensive backfield. Reuben Henderson is the rookie in there at one of the secondbacks.
But anytime your safety man, Walterscheid, leads the team in tackles, there's a problem. He made 17 solos in 2 weeks.
You can say that again.
2nd down and 7 for Tampa Bay on the Bear 41-yard line. He's back to throw a quick drop back. He's going for all of it. The House overthrows him. Well covered there by Terry Schmidt. And I believe Gary Finsick was in there too.
Well, they probably went after Terry Schmidt because last week there was a touchdown thrown over him on a one-on-one situation with Solomon. But that time, Schmidt had help from Gary Finsick as Gordon Jones comes back. And I like him. Do you know why? Because he blocks. He's a good blocking wide receiver.
Pittsburgh, University of Pittsburgh, and he's a very strong, he's a lot like Ricky Watts. He's 200 and some odd pounds and strong. House is the one that can run, but Gordon Jones is a good player. Here's the 3rd down and 7 now. The Bucs have had trouble on third down. They're only a 17% conversion team. And here's the buckshot formation. Shotgun. Williams is the tailback. Man in motion, comes back in the slot. Williams, he's set up. It's almost caught by Kevin House. That ball was underthrown a little bit. And I noticed somebody knocked Doug Williams down then just after he got it loose.
Well, Dan Hampton was coming from the right side, and he was putting some pressure on, made Williams adjust a little bit in the pocket, and he rushed his pass and threw it just a little sooner than he wanted to, and he threw into double coverage that time.
Blanchard will be the punter. He had a problem a week ago. He missed a snap, had one 18-yarder that he sort of shanked. He's got a good average, but he doesn't get a lot of hang time. He'll give you a run back chance. Blanchard standing on the 44. Jeff Fisher waits for it. This is off the side of the foot. Maybe a good kick, though. Inside the 15 somewhere. So neither offense has been able to do anything like getting points. And both teams are chomping at the bit, aren't they? 0-0 in this first period.
The Detroit Lions are on the comeback against the Minnesota Vikings, trailing by 2 touchdowns. Billy Sims, the I-back, got in from the 3-yard line, his 4th touchdown of the year. 14-7, the Lions are down to the 10 a second time. Let's go back to Tom Brookshire.
Remember Leroy Selman with those pulled hamstrings. Number 63 is playing the right defensive end on the 34. One of the great football players ever to play in this game.
And Bill Kohler's playing at the other defensive end. He has a hip pointer, so he's not 100% either.
Big Dave Logan is the nose tackle, and the Bears now do not have good field position yet. First drop back pass out in the flat. That's Suey, the fullback, with the ball, and he draws a crowd. A lot of banging going on out there. That's Kolar that got in on the tackle from the defensive end spot. Remember that Cecil Johnson and Richard Wood are the 2 big linebackers inside. Hugh Green is on the outside at right. He's got 4.5 speed. And Big Dave Lewis is the strong side outside linebacker. He's a 240-some-odd pounder. They are a physical bunch.
And so far, the Bears have been throwing underneath because Tampa Bay likes to drop those guys off and rush for 3 men, and they'll give you that short pass.
2nd down and 8 on the 16. Marjoram is in the game to the top of the screen. Here's the handoff to Walter Payton out of the eye. Payton dragging a couple of people and may have gotten 3 or 4. Johnson and Wood, the 2 inside linebackers, met him. That 34 defense, if you attack from it, is really tough.
And there's Walter Payton. Needs 34 yards to become the 4th all-time NFL rusher, and he's only in his 7th year. He'll pass Jim Taylor. He was a pretty good ball carrier, wasn't he?
I bet Jim, every time he hears that, Jim probably goes out and works out and starts running. Walter just got 4 of it, so he needs 30. It's 3rd down and 6 on the 18. A slot formation right. That's Marjoram in the slot.
Here they come.
Got to back out, going for the back, and it's intercepted by Washington, number 40. He's going to get awfully close to the end zone. He's got a pull groin and scores a touchdown on the interception. Spiked by the back, Williams, that came out of the backfield, and easily intercepted by Washington.
And he nonchalantly went into the end zone because of that injury that he has. And the reason was the pressure. They put the blitz on. Here come 2 linebackers. They put the blitz on Evans, made him throw the ball before he wanted to, and then it was slightly deflected. It was a little bit behind Dave Williams, and Washington picked it up and watched him la-di-da down the field. He doesn't want to pull that muscle. Figured he had the touchdown anyway, and then he plays off the block here and comes back in, trots into the end zone. 7-0, easy touchdown, Tampa.
Can't believe I played so long and never had anything easy.
You never had one like that, I'll tell you.
They even blitzed that left cornerback. Young Holt blitzed that time, too. Yepremian now. He's made 31 of 32, the left footer. Oh, he drilled that one. It's good. And Tampa Bay has made it look ridiculously simple. A defensive interception for a waltzing touchdown, and the boos are coming up. Bucs lead 7-0. Here's the interception, John.
Okay, let's take a look. Not only did the linebackers come, but see number 21, John Holt. He put pressure on. Vince threw the ball behind Williams. He tried to make the grab, and it was one of those things. Washington was in the right place, and when you have a pulled groin, that's the way you run.
That's a 4th touchdown by an interception in Washington's 5-year career. Here's Yepremian. He shouldn't get too much depth. He's not a long kicker. He gets this one. Williams is going to be at the 5. Williams trying to atone for the interception. The spike brings it out hard. A flag is down. He makes the 30-yard line. A flag was thrown in there down around the 20. This is how that first offensive series backed them down. Andy Hawkins was down to make the tackle. And the special teams for John McKay. The Bears have caught it again. This crowd is going to get very angry before this afternoon's over if it doesn't change.
Well, it makes it tough on the offense when you're always coming out from bad field position. They've been down in their own territory most of this first quarter, so this will be a real bad one for the Bears. They'll be at the 9-yard line.
Let's hear Mr. Tunney.
Illegal use of the hands, pushing in the back, on the run back. 10 yards, still first down.
There are the officials we told you about earlier, and Tunney did not give the number of the culprit, but I'm sure Neil Armstrong will know very shortly. First and 10, the Bears have the ball on their own 9-yard line. They had it on the 15 for that last series. Evans hands off to Walter Payton. Jackson got out. Payton goes up and over and makes the 10-yard line. Norris Thomas, the former Miami Dolphin back, came up and played Noah Jackson's block pretty well.
Good play by David Lewis, too. Boy, they are really pursuing. Of course, Tampa Bay always has great pursuit and gang tackling.
Well, remember their 79 team? That was the outstanding defensive team in the whole league. They got to the championship game and held the Rams that year to 9 points, 3 field goals. So if they get back to 79 for them, John McKay will be smiling again. Second down and 9 for the Bears. Evans calling his own plays. In a pro set handoff to Suey, the fullback, gets a good hole and then is really cracked. Cedric Brown came up from the secondary to make the stop. Out over the 15 to about the 16-yard line.
Matt Suey is the second leading rusher in Penn State history. Lydell Mitchell is the only man that ever rushed for more yardage than Matt Suey at Penn State, and that means, you know, Lenny Moore went to Franco Harris, Lenny Moore. Who else went there?
Third down and 3 now.
John Cappelletti was another one.
That's right. Third down and 3. Payton gets the ball, goes outside, cuts back, and good tackling on the outside. Hugh Green, the rookie, made a heck of a tackle of one of the great running backs. They're going to be short, and Parsons will be out to punt. That's some good-looking rookie. 212 to 15-pounder. Played defensive end in college. Looks like linebacking is going to be his spot forever.
And you got to be good to force Cecil Johnson into playing the inside, and Johnson has done a great job on the inside. They just have great linebackers. They have a lot of them and good ones.
Parsons averaging right at 40. Kicking, he'll be standing on right on the 5-yard line. And Theo Bell is waiting. It's not a very good kick. Bell at the 46 juggles it. Now got the
problems.
The wall is set up. The flag is down. Out of bounds inside the 40-yard line. McClendon knocked him out of bounds. The former Pittsburgh Steeler got a couple of good blocks, but there is a flag on the play.
Brian Bashnickel was downfield saying, I got clipped, I got hit in the back. We'll see if that's what the call is going to be.
Theo Bell is a class player. He played with those great Steelers Super Bowl teams, and Nick McKay and company were very wise in picking him up. He's a good-looking player. I've always liked Theo Bell.
Didn't the Steelers let him go out and out?
Over money. Argued over money.
Illegal use of the hands, pushing in the back during the run back. 59, first down.
Andy Hawkins. Come on, Andy.
There's Mr. McKay. He's probably calling for an early tea time back in Tampa to get off that golf course, huh? Bucks lead 7-0. It doesn't really stop here. It stops down on that artificial surface. The Bears have got to get it going and play a good football game. And right now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have already won one game. They come in after beating Minnesota, losing to Kansas City. Doug Williams, the I formation, first and 10 on his own 28. Here's Eckwood, the tailback. Gets drilled there. As Gary Fensick comes up after Hampton knocked him off stride.
Yeah, it was Hampton across the line of scrimmage to bust up that play. Quickly, let me give you a couple of scores. Atlanta has bounced out in front of San Francisco 24-10.
Wow.
And it's St. Louis leading Washington 26-17 in the second quarter. Cleveland 13-0 over Cincinnati in the second quarter.
That's a bitter battle, too.
Yes, it is.
And here it's 7-0 now. 1:23 left in the first period, and it's been really all Tampa Bay. The Bears have dug their own hole early today. I formation, long call. Good draw play. Wow. Eckwood from Arkansas. When he's healthy, he's a good-looking running back.
Oh, what a block that James Wilder put on Lee Kuntz, the middle linebacker, as he came up and led the way for Jerry Eckwood. That was an excellent play. They created the hole, and both backs got through it, and then Wilder threw the block on Kuntz, and that was why Eckwood got himself some yardage.
Here's a team that got 12 yards rushing against Kansas City, and they've gotten more than that already here in the first period, and they've only run about 3 running plays. The Bears are not playing that tough D on the line of scrimmage, and I don't know if that's linebacker problems or personnel problems up front.
Now the Bears have made some adjustments on defense because we have a third and about a foot to go.
Third, and let's call it a yard at the 37. Tight formation, short yardage offense and defense. Power play to the right. That's Eckwood, gets outside. Wow, rolls down to the 47-yard line. Wilder making the good block. He's the rookie from Missouri.
Yes, he put a pop on Terry Schmidt to help him Eckwood around the corner. But it was good hustle by Eckwood, showed some speed here. So he dipped inside, then went to the outside, and you're going to see 32 downfield blocking on Terry Schmidt. And finally, he is brought down by Gary Fensig. First down, Tampa Bay.
That's the same short yardage play that the 49ers scored against the Bears on their final touchdown run.
Catching people inside.
Inside. I formation, 1st and 10 now on the 47. Doug Williams does not call his plays, but he really runs a good offense. Eckwood dancing outside, out of the eye. Inside the 40. Kuntz the linebacker, and Terry Schmidt making the tackle.
And Jim Leonard, number 62, threw a heck of a block for Tampa Bay on that one. I thought that their offensive line was all banged up and everybody playing out of position, and which they are, and they've made some real adjustments. Leonard's in there, Gene Sanders, who has had to play one tackle or the other, and Revis has been hurt. Snell was hurt last week. Everybody's been banged up. George Yarno's in there.
First down on the 39. A throw set this time. It's Eckwood again. Going off the right side again. Getting outside. Bouncing in and making something that really wasn't there. Hampton making the stop along with Fensig. Tampa Bay, if they were healthy, they might scare you a little bit.
Eckwood, if you look back to the history of Bear Tampa Bay games, Eckwood has always played well against Chicago. Ricky Bell, of course, is not playing that much because he had the flu all week, but Eckwood is certainly taking up the slack so far. Jerry Eckwood, 7 rushes for 52 yards.
Second down 7. You're going to throw it. Look out for the tight end. High formation. Draw play to Eckwood. He's down to the 30-yard line. Otis Wilson making the tackle, number 55.
Another great block by James Wilder on Lee Kuntz, the middle linebacker. And, of course, when you have that lead back that can block like that, you're going to get some yardage up there.
A number 2 draft out of Missouri. Now, earlier, the Green Bay Packers got Ellis, a fullback from Missouri. They must be cloning them out there.
3rd and 1 situation, very similar to a moment ago.
Obradovich and Giles, 2 tight ends are in the game. It's 3rd down and 1 on the Bear 30. Barely over the 30-yard line. Good defensive play by Hartenstein. Didn't look like the first down was made.
No, he does not have it. It's about the 29.5-yard line. They had to get to the 29. As you're going to look at it at ground level, they're going to be coming right at you. 73, Mike Hartenstein plays off the block, jams it up, and makes the tackle. Good play by the Bears' probably steadiest lineman, Mike Hartenstein. So now Tampa Bay has a 4th down situation, and it does appear they're going to go for it.
Fensig sealed that off pretty well, too, on the short yardage. Good defensive play, and they are going to go for it. Why not?
It's too long, a little bit long for Yerpermian for a field goal, and it's too short to punt.
Ricky Bell, the big tailback, is in there, and Wilder. It's Ricky Bell up and over. He's got the first. And I noticed Doug Williams really giving the go sign, like the offensive linemen love to go for it on 4th and 1.
There's Ricky Bell. He's at the back of the eye. Good block there by Leonard. And then Ricky Bell just got up and over, a la Walter Payton style, makes the first down as he collides with Henderson. It is a first down for Tampa Bay at the ground level. Maybe you can get an idea of what it looks like and how high he can get up there in the air. Nice play, huh?
That's a 9-9. All right, 1 play for Ricky Bell, and Eckwood is back in there. He just now is adjusting. Williams on 1st and 10, the ball on the 27. Outside goes Eckwood. Hampton gets blocked on the line of scrimmage. Eckwood inside the 25. It looked like Hampton got clipped. Finsick finally making the tackle with Wilson.
Nice cutback by Eckwood. He has a nice ability to kind of slither back and forth. Always ends up with a yard or two more than you think he's going to get.
He was one of the greatest high school athletes, I was told, that ever lived. One time in a high school track meet, he did the 100, the 200, or the 220, ran the thing, threw the shot put, and almost scored enough to win the state title by himself. That's pretty good.
That's not bad. Uh-oh. I think some of the players thought it was going to be on the first down.
Ball start. Offense.
Sometimes a quarterback will call first down. First thing you hear, you go. Boom. Well, some of the players, as soon as he opened his mouth, the players broke, so there was a miscommunication on the snap signal.
Might have been
Ball start.
Schnell,
Offense.
Guard.
5 yards. Still second down.
It was number 72. I think Schnell was in there, the #1 pick of a year ago for Tampa that might have jumped. Now, the guards do come in with the plays. Yarno, 68, and Schnell, 72, bring in the information.
Okay, I think we got a passing situation here. One-on-one down here at the bottom of the screen.
Some graphic. 5 first downs to 0 for Chicago. The drive play to the tailback. Eckwood hit very hard at the 27-yard line and stacked up there. Walter Scheid and I believe Otis Wilson, the big linebacker, making the tackle. That will discourage some running when you get hit like that. That looks more like Chicago Bear defense that I remember. Back to the wall. The Bears are 0-2, and they thought they had a bad start a year ago. 3rd down and 9. The ball on the Chicago 27. The shotgun formation. Man in motion goes by. That's number 89. That's House. Williams under a big rush. Gets away. He's a good athlete. There's a flag on the play. Osborne came back to finally trap him. And Todd Bell was in on the tackle a little bit earlier. He's 6'4", about 205 pounds, and a good runner. I'm talking about Doug Williams.
4th down. No foul. 4th down.
No foul.
I saw that handkerchief go flying. I thought maybe he had to blow his nose or something. But anyway, there was no foul, and it's a 4th down situation.
Blew the play anyway, right? 4th and 9. Your premium will come in.
Let's not identify that official, okay?
Here he is. This is one of the great entrepreneurs of professional sports. He does commercials. He does live presentations.
He has 16 hair pieces.
No. Who's holding there? It's no good. It's off the left. Blanchard, the punter, was holding.
Somebody got the hand on it and deflected it. It never made it quite far enough. Maybe we'll get a chance to see who got through there as the Bears put a big rush on. Tampa Bay's drive stalls with no points.
All right. It was blocked. Somebody did get a hand. Otis Wilson, I think, won the game for Chicago a year ago against Tampa Bay with a block. And John McKay's back on the phone. At the end of 1 quarter, it's Tampa Bay 7, Bears nothing, and the Bears look like they're fighting back. All right, 41-yard attempt by Garrow.
And it's almost impossible to tell who blocked this because there's just a bunch of black helmets there, but the hand comes up, and it's usually Alan Page.
Yep.
He has a history of being able to get up there high and block them, but it was either Page or maybe Otis Wilson.
Whatever, it's a team effort. You'll win together and you lose together, and the Bears might get a pickup from that. Opening the 2nd quarter now, trailing 7-0. They might have the breeze to their back, the Bears now. Vince Evans comes out, and they're in an eye. Ricky Watts is to the right side. Bashnagle to the left. The toss back to Walter Payton. Here's the option pass. He's throwing deep, going for Ricky Watts, and it's overthrowing everybody. Norris Thomas was nearer the ball than Ricky Watts. There is a flag down on the 20-yard line. No, maybe there isn't a flag on the 20-yard line.
Oh, I see it right there.
That is a flag, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Either that or somebody got their socks pulled off.
Illegal motion, number 80, declined.
Ricky
2nd down.
Watts jumped a little early on the option pass.
The Bears had no first downs in the 1st quarter.
Walter got that off in sort of a hurry. I didn't think he faked the run very well.
There's a score at halftime. Minnesota 17, Detroit 14. That play didn't work for the Bears, but they know Walter Payton can throw the ball now, so it may help them in the future as you look at Atlanta 24-10 over San Francisco at the half.
A slot formation right on 2nd down and 10, the ball at the 24. Vince Evans left, being rushed and throws a perfect strike to Robin Earl. And the Bears are close to their first down. Cecil Johnson, the linebacker, making the stop. That was some good catch.
As you look at Dave Logan getting up, Leroy Selman was in there on the rush, and we have a penalty against Tampa Bay. It's going to be tacked on.
When they move those sticks, the crowd is going to react here at Soldier Field, I think. It's Jim Tunney walking it off. A little unsportsmanlike. Might have been roughing the passer. They put a pretty good rush on Evans.
Selman hit Evans kind of after the pass, but I don't know if that's the call.
Unnecessary roughness. Number 53. First down.
Hugh Green.
Rookies aren't supposed to be that way.
Okay, you watch the partial bootleg rollout here, and Evans has to turn his body and throws the ball very well. Here comes Selman on him. Selman hit him late. There's the hit right there. The second man in on the tackle.
Good catch by Robin Earl. The Bears have their first there on the 49. Handoff to Suey. Hit immediately in the backfield and dropped by the big linebacker we talked about, David Lewis. And tried to get the ball loose. He's 6'4", 240. And attacks out of that 34 defense. Now he's leaving and anticipating pass on 2nd down 11.
Scott Brantley has come in.
Tom Brookshier with Johnny Morris. The Bears trying to get something going in the second period. There's a trips formation left. Vince Evans back. Good blocking and overthrowing Baschnagel down on the 30-yard line. Baschnagel looked like he was clearing open, just beating Norris Thomas, but the ball was overthrown. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Chicago Bears and the National Football League is prohibited. And obviously, Hugh Culverhouse is in with his Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Mr. George Hallis is sitting up here somewhere near us. So everybody has it on the line today. 3rd down and 11.
They have 5 defensive backs. Billy Cesar's in there.
Evans, quick drop, 2-step drop, and overthrows Baschnagel by 5 feet. Evans is really pumped up. He really hummed those last 2 passes.
And his sights were extremely high, as in last week against San Francisco early in the game. Vince Evans was high on his passes.
Parsons will come in to punt. Theo Bell, number 83, is back as the solo safety man. Parsons will stand on the 35. He gets a good-looking kick, heading for the corner. Theo Bell takes, no, he's not going to take it, and it's going to go into the end zone. A touchback, and Tampa will come out for the 20 with it. So the Bears get the first down, but no points. Tampa still has the lead. Now they have the ball. Yes, that's right. That's Lake Michigan, tranquil and beautiful, but in this stadium, it's not panicky, but it's surly. The crowd want to see the Bears get going, and they haven't done much so far. Tampa Bay with the ball, 1st and 10 on their own 20. Doug Williams, the quarterback. High formation, handoff goes to Eckwood. He's hit and dropped hard by Otis Wilson, number 55. A stand-up tackle. Doug Williams even thought it was good.
He says, nice play, Otis. Tampa Bay offense, only team in the NFL with no turnovers, and that's quite an accomplishment. Even though the season's only 2 weeks old, the Bears have had, I don't know how many turnovers, with not too many interceptions, but a lot of fumbles.
How about Doug Williams with 0 interceptions? And against Kansas City, he threw it 40 times.
Going into this game, he has thrown 84 consecutive passes without an interception.
2nd down and 8. Eckwood only gets 2. High formation. Here's the pass play out of it. Play action. Going to the left sideline. A great out move. Gordon Jones ran a great out. and almost made the catch. That ball was humming, too.
That certainly was. It took about 1/10 of a second for it to get there as Jones really drove Reuben Henderson off. You're going to see Henderson covering him one-on-one. He puts the up move, a little fake to the inside, and just turns. And look how far Henderson was driven off. If that had been completed, he would have had a 25-yard play, and the ball was there. Actually, the mechanics were there. Just hang on.
Turned Henderson all the way around, didn't he? I know that feeling. All right, incomplete, though. 3rd down and 8. The ball still on the 22. It's the shotgun. Almost bobbled it snap. A quick out pattern. That's Kevin House. House tackled at the 40-yard line. He was open by 5 yards. Terry Schmidt finally making the tackle.
Well, the Bear cornerbacks so far in these situations have been playing off quite a ways. Now look at that snap. Way up there. Good hands by the quarterback, just like a wide receiver. Bring it in, Doug. And then zip. That ball is there in no time. No linebacker help on the shallow side. It's Terry Schmidt all by himself. And look at Kevin House. He came close to breaking that down the field.
Maybe you should blitz that shotgun or the buckshot or whatever they call it.
I definitely think you should. But
here's the toss. Back to Ricky Bell. No, Wilder, pardon me. Number 32, the fullback took it. He's a wild-looking runner, too. Hit hard there by Coons, number 57.
You got to let him carry once in a while. He's been blocking so great this first half. It's easy. He deserves one time to carry the ball.
Bear defense. The cornerbacks are laying off those fast receivers a long ways. Then when you come up and miss a tackle, it is a touchdown, as you said, John. 2nd down and 8, the ball on the 42. Tampa seems to have had the ball the whole first quarter and most of this. Wilder's in there with Eckwood. Straight drop back by Doug Williams. Looking for his tight end, Giles. Now he's going to run with it. It's spiked by Giles. He was trying to get it to Eckwood coming all the way across.
Eckwood was so wide open, it was unbelievable, but somebody deflected the ball. I couldn't tell if that was Otis Wilson or if that was a Tampa Bay man. Was that Giles? He leaped up and got his hand out. Eckwood would have had himself a touchdown.
Doug Williams has really matured and grown up, and his coach, John McKay, has gone in the stands and fought people over him down in Tampa, but he has always said, and everybody that plays against him, the young man is a quality person and one of the great young talents.
John McKay's probably on the phone saying the Bears haven't been blitzing that much. They're going with their 4-man rush.
Passing situation, 3rd down and 8. Here's the old buckshot. Williams dancing back to the 31. Oh, a good-looking spiral and just out of bounds. Now, Schmidt had better position for coverage that time. Kevin House, the intended receiver.
They're ruling it incomplete. Kevin House says, I had it. As Doug Williams goes off the field. Keep your helmet on, Doug.
A great number 1 draft. Here it is out of the shotgun.
Okay, the Bears tried their crisscross on the pass rush, but Alan Page ended up way out on the outside. There was no pressure, and the pass was not caught. Looks like it's on the ground there.
You caught so many, you ought to know. Here's Tom Blanchard with his 2nd kick of the day. Fisher's back for Chicago. It's going to be handled at the 20, an average kick. Fisher, who's been averaging 15 yards a return this year, is hit at the 25 and pretty much stopped in his tracks. So Tampa Bay still clinging to that 7-0 early lead, and the Bears have the football. The mayor of Chicago,
Mayor Jane Byrne, and her husband Jay next to her, following the tradition of Mayor Daley, used to always come to all White Sox, Bears, Cubs games.
I wonder where she's living now. Is she living at home again?
She's close by. You can bet on that.
There's a score. St. Louis laying it on the Redskins at halftime, 26-17. 1st and 10 for the Bears on the 25. Vince Evans, the quarterback, calling his own plays. Here's the handoff to Walter Payton running left. Payton gets through a hole and out over the 30-yard line. It's very hard to trap the 34 defense. There's just no working room to trap.
And you're going to see Bill Kohler, 77, is going to come from the other side, who really makes the tackle as Payton goes wide and then turns up behind his guard, Reevy Sawyer. Here comes Kohler, 77 from the other side with help from number 53, Hugh Green. So good pursuit by Kohler, who is doing pretty well considering he's got a hip pointer.
5-yard shot for Walter Payton. 2nd down and 5 on the 30. Slot formation right out of the eye. Walter Payton dipping to the outside. A great play by Leroy Selman, who chased over and closed it down, and Lewis got in on the tackle too. Other scores around? Shutout time.
Cleveland 13-0 over Cincinnati at the half. Miami and Houston in a real Donnybrook, 9-7 Miami. The Dolphins were 2-0 going in. Look at Pittsburgh. They're a little bit mad, I think. The Steelers 17-3 over the Jets at the half.
3rd down and 4. A big 3rd down and 4. The Bears have got to get a march going. Straight drop back. Selman almost gets to him. Suey has the ball, and a flag is thrown in there. Might be holding. Suey made the catch. Didn't get enough for the 1st down anyway. Norris Thomas, I believe, and Dave Lewis were racking up the fullback after the catch.
I think it is against the Bears. It's probably in the offensive line holding, and the Tampa Bay would refuse the penalty if that's the case.
Leroy Selman really came and almost got Vince on a 2-step drop. You see some defensive end.
You don't suppose they're considering taking the penalty? It'll be 4th and about a yard. And they might be afraid that that the Bears would go wild maybe and take a chance and go for the 1st down. I don't know.
They might be thinking about a turnover. If the Bears get nervous, they might want them to go ahead and throw it on 3rd, but I think they'll go ahead and let it go.
Holding. Offense 64. Declined. 4th down, 1 yard.
4th and 1, the punting team comes out. Boy, if ever the crowd wanted to see anything, it's probably to gamble even if the Bears would lose it. But this would be a tough place to try to pick up a yard against that bunch.
Well, you notice there's not that great a blocking in the Bear offensive line today because you've seen so much contact made by the defenders a yard or 2 into the backfield. Peyton is not even getting to the line of scrimmage on many of his runs.
You're absolutely right. Parsons kicking. Theo Bell is back for Tampa Bay. Parsons, his 3rd punt, almost blocked, but he gets off a Whistler. Theo Bell is chased back to the 16-yard line. And this going to be dropped back on the 11-yard line. Good coverage by the special team for Chicago. David Williams was down there. The first time the crowd has really come up since Page blocked that field goal attempt. It's still 7-0. Half the distance to the goal line. The infraction was a pushing from behind by somebody on the punt return team. So the Bears have Coach McKay's team in a pretty good hole right now. Doug Williams is 2 of 7 for 37 yards. He's not a big percentage passer, but they have the scoreboard.
Well, one thing about the Buccaneers, they have not been afraid to throw the ball when they're deep in their own territory, and it wouldn't surprise me if they try and get out in a hurry. As you look at the next fight coming up.
Manquillo against Roberto Duran. Boy, that's got to be something. Roberto now claiming that he is the Roberto that I used to know. I used to do some of those fights, and he scared me to death just broadcasting him. But they say he's getting in shape for a big one, John.
Well, I can see it coming right now. Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran a few months down the line, or maybe a year or so, because as you look at Walter Payton sitting on the sidelines, waiting for his turn to go out on the field again, a man who's rushed for 625 yards against Tampa Bay during his career. He has a 3.7 average against Tampa Bay, but his career average is 4.5. So overall, the Buccaneers have held Walter Payton in check compared to what he's done with the rest of the league.
He's got 10 yards on 5 carries. You see Neil Armstrong and Ted Marchibroda on his right. 1st and 10, the Bucs on their 8-yard line. The Bears are up on the line of scrimmage, crowding them. Pretty good defensive charge. Osborne, Otis Wilson up there, they stacked it up. Eckwood came straight ahead and didn't get much, maybe out to the 10.
It was Otis Wilson, 55, who really stacked it up. He came right in the hole and wasn't about to budge.
Big article in the Morning Chicago Tribune about the players like Otis Wilson, a #1 draft a year ago, that isn't getting a chance to play and learn while he's playing.
But he has, of course, been forced into the lineup because Jerry Muckenstern has been hurt, so he's getting a chance to learn on the job now.
You can't learn sitting on that bench. 2nd down and 6. The ball is on the 12-yard line. Excuse me. High formation drop back. Going for across the middle. Still running with it.
Gordon Jones.
Gordon Jones from Pittsburgh. He almost broke that play, and a good throw. Good throw by Doug Williams.
And he had the pass protection to complete it because he was back in his own territory very deep. And they went for it to get out in a big hurry, and that's always a good idea because you can get yourself in one-on-one situations, and Gordon Jones made the reception, finally brought down by Reuben Henderson, then Gary Fensick.
Some athlete. They
Yes.
cleared out with Giles. The big tight end went across and cleared everybody out of there, and he had some room. Well, they got out of the hole. First down and 10 on the 36. The toss back to Eckwood. There's a flag on the play. Hampton claimed he was clipped by Giles. Fensick making the tackle.
They may call it holding, but I think it was Giles, 88, who just became a papa. Didn't they just have another baby?
Another baby boy.
Jonathan.
Their daddy is some big guy, 240-pounder, 6'4", and can run like a deer.
He hasn't run into Doug Plank yet today. That'll be a real collision.
Wonder what they'll say to one another. Hello, Mr. Giles. Hello, Mr. Plank.
They have a lot of respect for one another.
Tommy marking it off. Here's the call.
What if it isn't on
Holding,
Giles?
number 88, 10 yards, still first down.
Wasn't clipping, it was holding on the big fella. He's been giving Hampton a time, and on a couple of the early runs in the first quarter, Hampton got up like he thought he'd been held in. First and 20 on the 26. Tampa Bay has had the ball a lot of the time in this first half. Hampton jumps. Was he drawn off? Now Osborne is in trying to get the ball away from Williams and does.
I think it might have been Giles, number 88, was the first one to move on that Tampa Bay offensive line. Here we go. Let's take a look. Boom. And then, of course, a smart defensive lineman will come right across the line of scrimmage.
The Razorback moved right in there.
Right. He said, I'm going to get in there.
Number 88, false start, simulating the start of the play, 5 yards, still first down.
Baby Giles back down in Tampa.
You're going to say, come on, Papa.
What's my dad up to? 2 plays in a row. Time of possession. 4-minute edge for Tampa Bay, and they still have the ball right now. First and 25 now. Perhaps the best movement of the ball Chicago's had all day. High formation, handoff. No, fake handoff. Doug Williams has a lot of time to look around. Now he's going to run it. Now he puts the ball away and has hit at the 27.
Boy, Williams got a little necktie from Dan Hampton on that one. Boy, he's going to have a little red mark around his neck.
He is a real good runner. Most teams that I've talked to that try to defend him say they really worry more about him getting out of the pocket and running and destroying their confidence in the defensive game plan than they do his throwing.
Or even when he is running, he can throw on the run with a tremendous strength. A lot of quarterbacks will have to set or they can't get enough mustard on the ball. Well, Williams can, and so can Vince Evans. We have 2 strong-arm quarterbacks in this game.
Second and 19 now on the 27. Bears obviously are thinking pass. Drop back out of the shotgun. Now he's going to run with it. The Bears close in on him at the 36-yard line. Walterscheid making the tackle.
That was the Fran Tarkington slide, wasn't it? Although usually Fran goes feet first, or he used to go feet first. The quarterbacks are so fragile these days. I mean, they take a lot of punishment, a lot of big red dogs and big linemen coming after you. If you can keep your quarterback healthy an entire season, you're lucky.
Absolutely true, and that line is protecting their young quarterback. Shotgun again on 3rd down and 10 on the 36. Doug Williams going across the middle, hitting Eckwood, who either fumbles it or catches it. Or it's incomplete. Fensick making the tackle.
Eckwood is
still
down
on the ground. A good tackle by Gary Fensick at the moment of truth.
Well, he was scissored between 2 people. There was no blitz, a straight 4-man rush out of the shotgun. Now watch the bottom of your screen. You see number 45, Gary Fensick, watching the quarterback, watching his eyes. And here comes Eckwood into the picture. And here comes Fensick. And down, he's the one who actually jolted the ball loose. And it's a 2-man tackle, and he did not have possession.
That's the rule that's going to cause so many disturbances. Did he have the catch or not? I thought he took a step with the ball.
Well, they say that both feet now, the rule states that if you have both feet come down on the turf and you're in possession of the ball, it's a complete pass.
No kidding.
Yep.
Sounds like square dancing. 7-0, Tampa leads. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, Brent and Irv back at the sports desk in New York with all the scores and some replays. Blanchard is back to punt, the 11-year veteran from Oregon. Leonard is the young snapper. They had a bad snap last year. That's Fisher waiting for the ball, the safety man for Chicago. Good snap. Pretty good kick. It's got good hang time. That's what they're worried about. Fair catch called and taken at the 34 by Fisher. Chicago has the ball now with 6:37 left. A first down on the 34. The crowd is calling for an offense. Tampa leads 7-0. Later today, Green Bay against the Rams and the amazing Saints against the amazing Giants.
And we should point out that that will not be shown in the Chicago area because this game, the blackout was lifted, and according to the rules, you can only see one game here, so it'll only be the Bears in the Chicago area.
All right, Vince Evans is 6 of 9 for 35 yards. Sprint out left to throw. Oh, it's batted away. Dave Logan, the big nose tackle, came through and put a paw on the ball and just swatted it. Leroy Selman playing hurt and well.
And that's one thing when Vince Evans rolls out and has to throw sidearm kind of because he's running to his left and he throws right. You can't get the ball up and over. You can't throw it over the top of your head. You gotta throw it sidearm, and that helps somebody get their hands up there. And you saw Logan get his hand up there, and
David Logan making a good play out of Pittsburgh. There are 4 Pittsburgh University products on McKay's team. 2nd down and 10 on the 34. Evans straight drop back. Good time. Good coverage downfield, trying for Marjoram in the middle. Brantley was in there, the young linebacker, and Billy Caesar.
And Evans was off on that pass too because there was a lane there and he was slightly open there, but the pass was thrown off to his side and it's incomplete. Evans is not throwing the ball all that well.
Bears are 0 for 5 on 3rd down conversions, and you can see the total offensive stats. They speak for themselves. Here it is now, a slot formation left, 3rd down and 10 on the 34. Evans got the backs out of the backfield. He just did get it off and underthrows. A big rush by Dave Logan, the nose tackle again. He was trying for Ricky Watts.
And you hit it on the head. Dave Logan bearing down on him, and he threw the ball just a little bit before he wanted to, as the Chicago Bear offense has just been stopped cold by Tampa Bay. Now, the defense for the Buccaneers has been playing well actually the first 2 games. They only allowed a touchdown in each game.
Parsons to punt. Theo Bell to receive. Become sort of a monotonous tune so far in this first half. Here's Parsons from the 25. It's a good kick. It is a great kick. Back to the 19-yard line. Theo Bell gets a block. Now he runs into the bad people. Harris, Hilgenberg, who made the snap. And Tampa gets the ball back again, and the people are more uneasy. The coach, you know, the buck stops there.
As Tom Brookshire pointed out, the natives may be restless in Chicago, but they are not in Atlanta. Joe Montana and San Francisco driving for a touchdown that would have put them right in it. But instead, the pass went into the arms of Tom Pridemore. He dashes 101 yards for the touchdown. The Falcons lead the Niners 31-10. You'll see these Atlanta Falcons next Sunday doubleheader game against the Cleveland Browns. Let's send you back now to Tom Brookshire.
Good idea. Tampa with their offensive team on there. It's a patched-up offensive line. Charlie Hanna's not playing. Sanders is playing for him. Yarno, Steve Wilson, the big center from Georgia's in there. Got Schnell at left guard. And Revis is at left tackle.
Shake the bone, shake the bone.
1st and 10, the ball on the 27. High formation, drop back pass. Overthrows Giles down the middle at midfield. Pretty good rush by Hartenstein. I think Gary Campbell was covering Giles. Hartenstein put some heat on, and the rush has not gotten to the young man from Grambling yet.
That's developing a problem for the Chicago Bear defense because last week against San Francisco, no sacks, and the Bears usually come up with sacks, and so far today, that patched up offensive line has been doing a pretty good job for Tampa Bay.
Darn good job. 2nd down and 10 on the 27. Trips left formation. One remaining back is all. He goes out too. Oh, almost intercepted by Coons, number 57. Everybody went out on the pass route that time, and Doug Williams did not look sure of that throw at all.
There's 57, Lee Kuntz. One of the reasons that he's playing is because he is better on pass defense than some of the other middle linebackers. He's watching the receiver, then he runs with him, and the pass, he just takes a leap and almost pulled it in. The Bears would have had great field position as Theo Bell was the intended receiver, but good heads-up play by Lee Kuntz out of Nebraska.
Now thinking pass all the way. The nickel defense is in for Chicago. 3rd down and 10. Chicago trying to apply some pressure with their defense. Shotgun. The backs are up. Williams going across the middle, and it's intercepted by Fensick. Gary Fensick has the interception down to the 20-yard line. Doug Williams made the tackle.
Gary Fensick, the safety, sat back and watched. He watched the quarterback's eyes. You're going to see Doug Williams go back. Gordon Jones comes down. Here's 45 at the bottom of your screen. And Williams was looking at him all the way. No look off. Everybody knew where he was going to throw, especially Gary Fensick. He jumped inside, went down the sidelines, and the Chicago Bears are in good field position. As you see, there's Al Harris throwing a block, number 90 for the Bears. And finally, it's Williams who had to make the tackle himself. The Bears have a chance to get back in this ball game.
Fensick's first interception of the year. 1st and 10 on the 20-yard line. The crowd whooping it up. Here's the inside drive to Peyton, who was drilled by Leroy Selman after Bill Kolar hit him early.
Well, that certainly has been the key for Tampa Bay. They're penetrating, getting across the line of scrimmage. Peyton once again could not even get up to the line of scrimmage, and you got to give him a chance to find the hole, and it makes it tough on anybody.
And you know, John, against the 34 defense, you got to use some misdirection things. You got to screen outside. You got to go sideline to sideline and make those guys move a little bit, and even make a false move, perhaps. It's only the 2nd interception for the Bears here in their 3rd game. 2nd down 11 on the 21. Good defense by Tampa Bay. Suey in motion. The toss is out to Peyton on the outside. Gets some room. Good looking play that time. They got outside. Hugh Green making the tackle. Plays down to about the 15-yard line.
Walter Payton, who had 800-yard-plus games in 1980, has 42 for his career, which I think puts him in a... Isn't he tied for 2nd with O.J., I believe?
Great thing is that he's had none this year. And as Walter will tell you, last year is gone. He needs a 100-yard day today.
Big play right here.
3rd down and 6 on the Tampa 16. A pro set offense, slot left. Evans, straight drop back. Good protection throw is to Robin Earl, who makes the catch at the 7-yard line. Neil Colsey was right on him, but Robin Earl is 6'4", about 240, and he just took the ball away from him.
He certainly did, and Evans stayed in the pocket there as long as he could because they were bearing down from his backside. And there was the pass, good glue fingers by Robin Earl, a two-handed catch. Neil Colsey drags him down from behind, and he's lucky he hung on because Robin Earl weighs 240 pounds. The Bears have a 1st down at the 8.
Earl making 2 good catches for Chicago. But that Tampa defense is tough. 1st and 8 on the 8. 1st and goal. Outside to Suey. Behind Peyton's block. Suey to the 5-yard line. And then collared hard by Hugh Green and Cecil Johnson. Suey, the 215-pounder.
You're going to see Colsey come across the line of scrimmage. Peyton's the blocker. 34 is coming right at you. He'll throw the block on Colsey, number 20, who comes across, forcing Suey to go a little bit wider and allows the pursuit to collar him and knock him down, but not before he got a couple of yards.
Boy, those linebackers really hit for Tampa Bay. 2nd down and 5. 2nd and goal in the 5, and Williams is in the backfield. There's a thinking pass.
Let's see if Evans rolls out.
Handoff to Walter Payton. Peyton inside, down to the 1-yard line, over bodies. Hugh Green there, along with Colsey and Kolar. Pretty good looking offensive play. Looked like the pass formation.
Yes, it did, and you can see the guards pulling. There's Jackson, and then Peyton carrying that ball from side to side, finally tucks it away, and then puts the ball in the wrong arm, but Peyton normally doesn't fumble that much. As you know, he has 4 times in the first 2 games, and here's the situation where they have fumbled critically a couple of times, right down on the 2-yard line. Boy, if they fumbled today, I don't think the stadium would stand up for it.
The crowd tells them the story. 3rd and 1. Robin Earl and Mike Cobb, 2 tight ends. Suey to the outside. Suey scores.
He ran right through John Holt for the touchdown. Everybody's keen, Walter Payton, and it went to Matt Suey as center Dan Neal spiked the ball. There he is, Matt Suey out of Penn State.
It's a tough defense to score against inside.
Oh, watch 21 come across. Holt's the one who thought he should get him, but he got a good block there. 56, Cecil Johnson came over, but it was too late as 21. John Holt shows the frustration on the Tampa Bay defense on this play. He comes across there. Suey wisely cut inside. Cecil Johnson was too late coming over from the inside. Touchdown, Chicago. And here is Hans Nielsen for his first regular season NFL kick.
For an extra point, Baschnagel holds. It's good. There's a flag on the field, but the kick itself was good, and Tunney says it is good. We have a tie game. An interception.
Personal foul. Running into the kicker, number 21, penalized 5 yards on the kickoff.
And so Nielsen will kick off from the 40-yard line. The young man from Sweden who's been cut by the Bears twice and signed 3 times, which is the most important thing.
As you know, their regular place kicker, Bob Thomas, has a pulled muscle in his leg, so they put him on injured reserve and activated Hans Nielsen, who stuck around town just hoping that there might be an opportunity for him. He can speak 5 languages.
Being a kicker in this league, you have to speak more than one language, right? You have to speak Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Atlanta. All right, let's go to New York now and to Brent Musburger for an update.
Tommy, the return of Tommy Kramer is throwing the NFC Central up for grabs. He'd already thrown 1 TD against Detroit. He hits Ted Brown. Brown breaks free from Ray Oldham and dashes in a 59-yard score. Minnesota misses the extra point, but they still lead the Lions 23-14. Let's send you back to Brookie and Johnny Morris.
3:24 left in the second period. Fensick's interception. The good run by Suey for his first professional touchdown. And we got a tie.
We talked about no turnovers. That was Tampa Bay's first turnover of the 1981 regular season. That interception by Gary Fensick.
There's Hans Nielsen, who has a pretty strong kickoff leg. He has been around. He's been to Atlanta. There's, of course, young Owens that obtained from San Francisco by Tampa Bay. The ball is fumbled at the goal line and rolls on out. It'll be a touchback. That was Owens that couldn't handle it. It was sort of a line drive, a hooded 2-iron, but it made the end zone.
Yeah, not too bad considering he didn't hit it the way he wanted to, and it still made the end zone.
Thomas, by the way, is up here in the booth with us. No use sitting in the stands because I know how rough that can be. And a young man from Notre Dame who's a lawyer is pulling for Nielsen just the way all kickers pull for one another. That's great. Don't forget at halftime, all those scores with Brent and Irv back from the sports desk in New York. Right now, we got over 3 minutes left. Tampa with the ball. Doug Williams, the drive off the left side that went earlier. Eckwood picks up maybe a couple, but he really got belted. Otis Wilson went under, and Otis is slow getting up.
And Gary Campbell on the top side was in on the tackle, and Campbell's playing with a sore knee. There's a lot of people in this football game that aren't 100%.
Bears appear to be hitting a little bit more on defense now.
Well, you get that tying score, it can be a little bit of an inspiration. Tampa Bay, it's a big series for them.
2nd down 7. Eckwood got 3. The I formation. They shift out now to a pro set. Kevin House is to the right of the bottom of your screen. Here's the handoff to Eckwood going wide. Eckwood gets to the 27. Fensick making the tackle.
Boy, can that James Wilder block. Did he put a block on Dan Hampton to take him out of the play as we have a flag down on the field? Maybe it was an illegal block. I don't know. But it was a good block by James Wilder on Hampton to help Eckwood around the corner. But we have a penalty. We'll find out what it is.
Wilder's got to be one of the great draft choices. He is a fine receiver, not only a good blocker. McKay's going to really use him.
Illegal motion, number 84. Still 2nd down.
Gordon Jones, the split receiver, tried to steal a yard or 2. Notice how John McKay has always liked to keep his offensive line off the line of scrimmage, give you as much chance to read. Let's see how far they're lining up off that ball.
The Bears are already into their special pass defense.
On 2nd down and 12 on the 18. 2:33 left. A tie game, 7-all. The I formation. Eckwood is the deep back. Here's Doug Williams with a big rush from Hartenstein. Oh, he hits Jones all by himself at the 35. Reuben Henderson was there, but there's that deep out again. And again, Henderson was driven off.
Let's take a look here now. Off the I formation there, everything's play action for Doug Williams in Tampa Bay. And Jones just drives him off the field, down the field, and turns, and he's wide open there. Actually, Henderson slipped a little bit, and he did catch it inbounds. Then his foot went out of bounds, and the rest of the play here is academic, just fundamentals on how to tackle.
I think Hampton was the one that put the big pressure on from the far side in that four-man rush. 1st and 10 call. A great catch by Jones, almost at midfield. And Henderson that time was right on him. A good throw and catch.
Boy, he put some mustard on that. And watch Hartenstein, number 73, coming from the backside. He's frustrated because he almost got there and couldn't get a hold of him. And look at that, two-hand grab and the reception. Gordon Jones out of Pittsburgh.
I like the way Doug Williams stands in that pocket, and he's tall at 6'4", so he can see, and just picks out his guy and lets it go. He doesn't seem to see the rush. He is really coming on. The 2-minute warning at the halftime. We got a tie game 7-7. Both teams are really hitting. That Hannah football family is quite unusual in itself. 2-minute warning. 1st and 10 now. Tampa Bay driving on the passes of Doug Williams and the catching of Gordon Jones. They're out to the 49-yard line. High formation. Back to throw again is Doug Williams. He stands.
Oh, wide open.
Kevin House. Lee Coons finally made the tackle, but I didn't see anybody around House for 5 or 10 yards. There's a flag on the play.
There's going to be holding against Tampa Bay, which will nullify it.
Might be on Sanders, the big tackle that's in there for Charlie Hanna right now, trying to battle Hampton. People around the league keep telling me, how can the Bears be giving up so many points? They've got good people on defense.
Holding, 74, 10 yards, still first down.
Gene Sanders, the 270-pounder from Texas A&M.
You don't think they've moved him around? He had to play the other side on tackle. He used to play on defense, but he's doing a pretty good job. John McKay told me he likes what he sees.
How about having to block Art Still 1 week and Dan Hampton the next?
9 penalties for Tampa Bay so far.
Tony Davis is in at fullback, the former Nebraska All-American. Eckwood's getting the call from the tailback of the eye, and is staggered and knocked down there by Jim Osborne.
He bounced right off of Jim Leonard, Osborne did, and made the tackle. Nice hit by Jim Osborne, one of the young men that's been here 10 years for the Chicago Bears, 9 years, I believe.
The Bears had, what, a players' meeting on Monday to discuss it? I used to love those when everybody would get in there.
And you know what they also did? They had, usually the offense and defense split up to watch game films. They watched them all together.
Oh,
so that the offense could see how bad the defense is, and the defense could see how bad the offense is.
Wow, 2nd down and 19, back on the 40. Williams in the shotgun. Man in motion. His House comes back to the slot inside, and that's well covered there by Terry Schmidt. Kevin House trying to run out of the slot, running the sidelines. He's from downstate Illinois, isn't he? Didn't he go to Southern Illinois?
Yeah, he's a good ball player. 4.3 speed, out of motion. Now watch Terry Schmidt does a real good job here. He jams him, then chases him. Now he's got his back to the ball, and then he just figures about the time the ball would come, and he turns his head and looks for it, and almost had an interception. Actually, he was just well covered.
That time, Doug Williams really stared at his primary receiver a long time.
If he has a weakness, I think that's what it is. He doesn't look off enough yet.
3rd down and 19. 1:07 left in the first half. We got a tie. The shotgun. Deep drop. Going deep for it. Williams trying for Kevin House and overthrows even the young man that can run the 40 in 4.3. Finsick was there.
That was a 60-yard pass in the air by Doug Williams. And even Kevin House at 4.3 couldn't get that far as Doug, he keeps taking that helmet off.
Airmail special delivery. That ball was a spaceship. And now Blanchard in. Jeff Fisher back to receive, the only safety man, and the Bears have 10 people on the line of scrimmage. snap. A low kick. Going to be a return on this. Fisher at the 12-yard line. Fisher getting away, reversing his field, gets back up in the middle. The young man from Southern California has some blockers over midfield. He's getting some help from Todd Bell. He's going to go all the way with it. What a return by the rookie from USC.
Jeff Fisher, one of 4 rookie defensive backs on the Chicago Bears, was leading the NFC in punt returns coming into this game. He headed left, and that's where he made his wise moves. He got back to the right, to the outside to pick up his blockers. Whoa. Shook a tackle there, headed for the sidelines, and then it was Todd Bell, number 25 right here. You're going to see right up the field, Todd Bell keeps Blanchard out of it, and Jeff Fisher goes down the sidelines. Touchdown, Chicago.
Tampa Bay's had some trouble with their punt coverage.
They had problems last week. They had a 62-yarder against them last week.
J.T. Thomas running back, and the Bears are suddenly ahead.
You know, that's what happens when you get those line drive low kicks. That ball was down there. He had plenty of time to field and run.
Nielsen for his second extra point as a Bear, as a pro player. Must be good. The Bears have struck back with unconventional but exciting football, a punt return.
So many times when you break the punt returns, you head one direction and cut back the other way. And this is just a bit of nice running right here as he cuts back, and he'll shake a tackle right there, an ankle tackle, then heads back to the sidelines. You got to go to the sidelines. I haven't seen any clips yet, but right down here, Todd Bell kept Blanchard out of it, which is a big help. There was a nice block there by, I don't know who that was that threw that block. And Todd Bell here, rather than risk a clip, just kind of stood his ground with Blanchard. He didn't want to risk a clip, and Fisher took it in for the touchdown. He's from USC, and that's where John McKay's from, and he doesn't want to mention that right now.
He was academic. He was an academic all Pac-10 guy, so he did go to class. Looked like he learned something. A big boost for Chicago. And the special teams still plague John McKay's Bucks. Last week they only got about 2 days to work out. They had rain down in Tampa, then a lightning storm, and half the guys are in the training room anyway.
Well, both the Bear touchdowns have not come from sustained drives. It was a punt return, and you know the interception set up by the defense, so the Tampa Bay defense has not done all that badly, and that's the longest punt return in history against Tampa Bay, 88 yards.
The longest one here at Soldier Field by a Bear. How far was it? I never got
88.
88, that's a long ways. Here's the kickoff by Nielsen, taken by James Owens at the goal line. Owens getting a good return, but knocked out at about the 23-yard line. Special teams. They used an interception by Finsick to get the first touchdown and run a punt back for the other one. You can't just do it by conventional football all the time. Todd Bell made the tackle on that.
Well, that's Jeff Fisher's first touchdown in the NFL.
6th-round draft, was he? No, yeah. Reuben Henderson was 6th.
Jeff Fisher, I think, was 4.
4? Like the Bear Scouts must be doing a pretty good job. Jim Parmer must have gone to class with him out at SC.
And they have 9 rookies on the team this year.
Tampa Bay with 1st and 10 on the 22. They have 32 seconds left. You can see the insert there. Penalties have also hurt Tampa Bay when you think about it. They've had, what, 9 already? A couple of those were pretty tough.
You know, Tampa Bay's touchdown, of course, came on the interception, so their offense hasn't done a heck of a lot as far as sustaining a drive all the way down. They're 5 of 28 for 3rd down situations this year. That's not a good percentage as you look at the Chicago Bears sideline. Gary Finsick and Gary Campbell.
I think Buddy Ryan must have gotten his defense changed a little bit against the eye running. They're stopping the running better now, too.
Now you see how much room he has before the defenders get down. That was because of the line drive kick. And it was simply a nice run because I don't see any great blocks. Have you seen a great block yet? There's a couple downfield later on. You can see Mike Cobb, 87, tying a man up, but then Fisher just turns it on and outruns these 3 men that are trying to catch him.
There's one right down here, though. One of these fell there.
37 that was for Chicago. Willie McClendon, a running back who plays behind Walter Payton.
1st and 10, 32 seconds left. Straight run by Eckwood, who is drilled with a good tackle just short of the 30. Was that Fensick making that tackle? Might have been Doug Plank, I believe, number 46, huh?
No, it was Fensick. Gary Fensick in. As they're going to let the clock run down, Tampa Bay is going to regroup in the locker room, and John McKay will have a few things to say as they come out in the second half.
Things are picking up in the Windy City. A punt return, 88 yards by Jeff Fisher, and a lead over Tampa Bay in the own conference, the Central Conference. Chicago Bears lead 14-7, and Tampa Bay says we'll get the revenge.
Finally, one player from USC, and he burns him with an 88-yard punt return for a touchdown. This week actually began on Thursday night when the Eagles of the NFC downed the Bills of the AFC by a score of 20-14. But the story when we left that game, Wilbert Montgomery limping along the sideline, a pulled hamstring muscle. Of course, what's Montgomery's status now in the weeks ahead for the Eagles?
Brent, I was with Wilbert Friday night. He's never had a hamstring pull, including the time when he ran track in college. He'll be out 3 to 4 weeks.
All right, and as I've said, the NFC Central race is just up in the air right now. Minnesota, Detroit. Minnesota missed a critical extra point in that game, and it could tell the difference if Murray gets in field goal range, because right now the Vikes are clinging to a 2-point lead. Here comes Tommy Kramer. Back at quarterback, he goes to Terry LeCount. Ted Brown will run it in. What a difference Kramer makes, Irv.
No doubt about it. He's an experienced quarterback, sees the field well, and has full control of that offense. Ted Brown goes in.
Now, here's a big defensive play. In the past, it's always been Bud Grant's defense that has plagued the Detroit Lions, especially in Bloomington. That was Tom Hannon stripping the ball from Leonard Thompson, and he's going to get down to the 5-yard line, and then Kramer's going to hit Joe Sensor. Sensor missed a couple of big passes against Oakland, didn't he?
He's a basketball player in college. Brent has good hands, made up for those missed catches against Oakland.
Here comes the great Billy Sims. Touchdown number 1. That made it 14-7. He's not finished. Watch the pulling guard, and Sims will say, up over the top. And 17-14. Then it was Kramer again. Olam's going to miss a tackle, and Brown's going to be free. It is a 59-yard touchdown here for the Vikes. But again, the Lions have come back. Danielson scored from the 1-yard line, 23-21 that game now in the 4th period. Cleveland over Cincinnati, 13-10, and of course the big doubleheader game here on CBS next week. It'll match the Browns and Brian Sipe against the Falcons and Steve Bartkowski. What a shootout that figures to be. Pittsburgh Steelers are all over the Jets, 31-3, and now you have to wonder about the future of Walt Michaels as head coach of the Jets. They will now be 0-3. They were embarrassed last week by the Bengals. They have done absolutely nothing today against the Steelers. The Washington Redskins trailing St. Louis 40-17, and the Redskins have not lost there since 1975. But this afternoon, they're in trouble, despite the flea flicker. And it's going to go to Ricky Thompson for an early skin touchdown, 10-3, Washington ahead. The veteran, Jim Hart, is back. Roy Green, or what's he doing as a receiver?
Roy Green is a defensive back, but because of injuries, he had to play receiver today. Touchdown.
Now, here comes one of your favorites, Stump Mitchell.
The old stump on a punt return. Of course, special teams play are critical in the National Football League, and the Redskins simply broke down this afternoon.
Here comes Theismann now to Art Monk. What do you think of Monk?
Well, Monk hasn't reached his full potential yet. His great size and speed, he's beginning to develop into that #1 draft choice potential the Redskins hoped he would have.
Now, Hart hits Greg LaFleur. Or who in the world is Greg LaFleur?
Greg LaFleur was drafted by the Eagles in the 3rd round this year from LSU and cut now with the Cardinals.
Now, watch Dave Stieff here. Hart's going to hit him, and the Redskin defense is being shredded by the veteran. And finally, it's Otis O.J. Anderson powering in for the touchdown. It's easy right now. 40-17, the Cardinals over the Skins. Houston now leading Miami. 10-9 is the count in that game. The Dolphins have only been able to put field goals up on the board against that tough Oiler defense this afternoon. Atlanta, 34. San Francisco, 10. The Falcons are loaded. They are one of the premier teams in the National Football League right now. Steve Bartkowski and that offense took the opening kickoff and drove in, going to Alfred Jackson, 29 yards for the touchdown. Irv, what about this swing pass to Lynn Kane?
Brent, I've seen a lot of great runs in pro football as a player and a coach, but this one has to rate among the tops. Just look at this effort. Tremendous individual effort for the score.
Now, Joe Montana will go to Charlie Young, and it was 17-7. And Bartkowski has all kinds of receivers. Hit Alfred Jackson earlier. This time he's going to go to Alfred Jenkins for the touchdown. It was 24-10. And then early in the 3rd, the Niners had a shot. Montana, though, threw the ball right to Tommy Pridemore. 101 yards on the return.
The reason why this play went is because the Atlanta Falcons have an interception return. It's like teams have punt returns. The minute he intercepted the ball, his defensive team went to the short side of the field, forming a wall. 101-yard return for a touchdown.
And Atlanta's about to go to 3-0. All right, San Diego 28, Kansas City 14. It was 28-7. Now the Chiefs have just gotten on the board on a pass to Dixon in that game. And, of course, the game you're watching, Chicago leading 14-7 on that 88-yard punt return by Jeff Fisher. And the NFL Today continues on CBS after these messages from your local stations.
Back at Soldier Field, Hans Nielsen will kick off for the Bears. They lost that, or won the opening toss, so Tampa Bay will get it, 14-7. Bears have made the fans a little bit happier, and Tampa Bay is going to put their offense in gear. That's Theo Bell letting it roll into the end zone and out, 20-yard line. Working perhaps against the wind a little bit will be Doug Williams in the offense. And guess who?
There's Papa Bear George Halas. Interesting happening this week. Some of the players wrote a letter to Papa Bear saying that they had heard of all his tradition and everything, but they had never really met him. He's not involved in the day-to-day operations of the team, and they said, we've heard so much about you, we'd like to have a chance to talk to you. Mr. Halas went out to the practice, had a meeting with the fellows, and talked with them for 10 or 15 minutes, and that's right. They had heard so much about it, and they wanted to really get a chance to talk with him.
Looked like he was enjoying his fried chicken here at halftime. First down. Looked like Osborne might have jumped a little early. The Bears have come out and hit it a lick. The turnovers. The good punt return. And like they say, boy, when you
Ball
lose...
start, 74, right tackle.
Sanders drew Osborne off. That's about the 10th penalty on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers today.
That's an inauspicious way to start the second half. They had problems like this in the second half. In the first half, I should say.
When you have inexperienced people up at the tackles and all, you're going to get that. There's just no doubt about it.
Williams was 5 of 16 in the first half for 92 yards.
Bears better cover Gordon Jones because he was giving Reuben Henderson a heck of a time. 1st and 10 now from the 15. 1st and 15 from the 15. Pardon me. Back to Eckwood, the tailback out of the eye. He breaks out and is still running to the 35-yard line. Fensick and Schmidt finally get him down. He had 76 yards rushing in the first half. Eckwood's having a day.
He is, and I think that might have been an audible because the Bears shifted their defense 2 or 3 times, and you're going to see Eckwood as he follows Wilder through, who throws another nice block on Lee Kuntz, and then Eckwood busts through, then hangs onto the ball. Watch the Bears reaching for the ball, trying to pull the ball loose. Terry Schmidt here is also trying to grab him and then grab the ball loose, and here comes Gary Fensick, 45, and it took a bunch of Bears to bring him down.
1st and 10, a good run by Eckwood. The ball's in the 35, drop back pass by Doug Williams. Going across the middle for Giles, who's open and very strong, breaks the tackle. Look out, down to the 34-yard line. Fensick hanging on for dear life. Walter Scheid also in on the tackle. Giles is big and fast.
Yes, and you hit him in the middle, and when he's in the open field like that, there was nobody within 5 yards of him, as Williams had plenty of time to throw, and he hits him on the run here. And here is Len Walterscheid, who makes the hit, kind of falls off him because Giles is so strong, especially if you're just trying to hit him around the legs, and he just takes it on downfield. Finally, it's Fensick and Terry Schmidt who bring him down. 2 big plays for Tampa Bay.
The Bucks are really hitting on all cylinders right now. Eckwood gets in the middle, gets hit hard. Down to the 32-yard line. Coons making the tackle. Tampa Bay has... John McKay must have shook the rafters in there at halftime because they have come out smoking.
I bet we couldn't say verbatim what he said.
There he is saying it.
He's talking to Bill Nelson upstairs on the telephone saying, hey, you called a couple, 3 good ones. Give me some more.
I'd love to see him on the Johnny Carson show some night. You know, he could sit there and talk to you for 2 hours and be entertaining. He's a great coach, too.
A very quotable coach.
2nd down, 7 on the 31. Close set. Handoff to Eckwood trying to get wide. Hampton closed it off. Walterscheid gets in on the tackle. Good play by the defensive end.
All right, and the Bears had everybody up on the line. Al Harris was in there. Looks like they have a 7-man line as everybody was up there to play that. And watch the pursuit. You're going to see the contact and then automatically left. Everybody moved left, and there was no chance on this play. Everybody was in on it. Len Walterscheid, Al Harris, Otis Wilson.
The Bears are gang tackling the way the Bucks did in that first quarter. You got to get all the shirts on your guys on every tackle. Here's the shotgun now on 3rd down, 10. Williams back. He's got good pass protection this time. It's for Giles. Giles hit and drop, but he has it inside the 10. A great throw by Doug Williams. Fensick made the tackle. A super throw by this quarterback.
The Bears had a 5-man line, 5 linemen, but you're going to see Al Harris, number 90. He'll drop off. He's a defensive end, but he was down like a linebacker trying to cover, as you're going to see Giles go down the field, and the pass was really threaded, and Giles deserves a lot of credit here. He hung on to the ball, and he knew that he was going to get plastered, and it was Gary Fensick who really came in with the hit. Jimmy Giles.
House is in now. Kevin House is going out to the left. Williams with one of the great throws, a great strike. It's a short yardage formation from the eye. Edwards the tailback. Wiley's the fullback. Somebody jumped. It's first and goal on the 6-yard line. Sanders had some problems there, but maybe he was drawn off.
False start.
I think
74.
That was Sanders who moved a little bit too soon. The Bears, did you see them shift their defense? They caused some confusion on the Tampa Bay offense. You'll see the 2 linebackers move up right in the middle there, and Tampa Bay got a little bit nervous.
False
you can
start.
see Sanders moving a little bit too soon. Number
Still first
74,
down.
the right tackle.
The penalties have been about the only thing that's stopped Tampa Bay. Number 11. First and 11 from the 11.
Well, that makes a big difference in the drive. Now they're back in a much different situation.
The blitz is on. Safety blitz is on. Williams beats the blitz and throws for the corner and just misses Gordon Jones in the far corner.
Boy, what a block by James Wilder as he hit Todd Bell on the blitz. The Bears had gotten through slick and clean, and Tampa Bay was lucky that it wasn't a 10-yard loss. Great block. This James Wilder is fantastic on his blocking.
He's 22 pounds.
And he had to move back, too, to get it. It happened so fast.
Tampa Bay, the first expansion team to go so far so fast in '79 when they played for the NFC Championship game. Played well and lost to the Rams. But this is 1981. Second down 11 now. Here come the Bears. Are they faking the blitz this time? They've gone off. They back off. Williams quickly throwing. Oh, he's got House for a touchdown. House beat Doug Plank by half a step for a touchdown.
And they had him inside outside too. Plank was in there for the short inside coverage and Terry Schmidt on the outside, and they found the hole, hit Kevin House, and it was like duck soup. As you're going to take a look at it again, it was a quick pass. There was no way the pass rush could get there in time, and you'll see Plank on the inside, 46, and from the outside Terry Schmidt had no chance, and it was just a well executed play. Nice spike there, huh? The old soft touch on the spikeroo, the little drop. There it is.
Ball is threaded. You don't see these balls thrown better than the last 2 or 3 that Doug Williams has thrown. Yepremian now with Blanchard holding from the southpaw side. It's good. It's straight. Tie ball game. Tampa Bay has come out and taking the kickoff and really put on an aerial display. 14-14. And the Bears are going to get the ball back. And the crowd is very quiet. You can check the numbers. A very impressive drive by Doug Williams and the Bucks. The kickoff now by Yepremian shouldn't be too deep. Williams back, going to take this one at the 10-yard line. Good field position for the Bears. Williams gets to the outside, cuts back, and is now rammed at the 31. Gary Davis making the stop.
We have a final score, Tom. Atlanta beat San Francisco 34-17. 34-17. Their last touchdown was Joe Montana to Freddie Solomon.
Atlanta worked over the young secondary, huh?
Yeah, Tom Pridemore had a 101-yard interception return. As you look at John McKay, he had to be happy with that drive.
He's quite a person. He takes losses and wins in the same breath. It's a game still for him, too. 14 all tie. First down on the 31. Here's Evans back to throw. First one of the second half. Almost intercepted. I believe it is intercepted. That's big number.
They're saying it was down.
Cecil Johnson thought he caught it on the second deflection.
The Buccaneers are really upset. That ball was deflected around through 2 or 3 players. Cedric Brown, I think, hit it first.
He made the move on it to start the interception.
Vince Evans didn't see him coming from the left side. He thought Bashnagel was wide open. As you're going to take a look at it, you see Bashnagel will come from the right side of the screen and it looks like he's wide open, but there's Brown, 34. He spots the ball coming. He hits it. Then another man hits it. I don't know who it was, and you're going to see Cecil Johnson. That's Lewis, and then here's Cecil Johnson right there, 56.
I'll tell you, it looked like an interception to me.
It did appear to be.
I tell you, he's the funniest guy on the Tampa Bay team, but he isn't laughing right now, and I don't blame him. The Bears get a break, 2nd down and 10. Back to throw again, Evans. Oh, he throws one open. Ricky Watts takes the ball. Gonna call it no good. The official said he didn't get both feet down. Evans cleaned it off and threw what looked like a completion.
Okay, you're going to see a pretty good pattern there by Ricky Watts. It's a flag. He's going to go down, fake the post. You're going to see a little bit of a move to the inside. He tries to bring Holtwin with him, and then he cuts back, and instead of going for the corner, he goes back towards the sideline so that the back is much too deep to make the coverage, and now he'll leap, and he will not get his feet in, I don't believe. He's down one.
He got them both in.
Oh, he did get them both in, didn't he?
Well, that's 2 for 2 for the officials. Back-to-back plays.
And according to the new rules, he got his feet in. Even though he didn't maintain control afterwards, it should have been a completion.
He had the ball. 3rd down and 10. A very exciting second half. Going for Baschnagel, who was buried alive. John Holt, the rookie cornerback, cut him in half. From West Texas State, Johnny Holt getting a tough spot. Remember now, Cotney and Jordan, the 2 starters in that secondary, went down in the first preseason game, so McKay's defense has really been patchwork.
Dewey Selman was hurt early.
Parsons punt. Theo Bell waiting for it, and anxiously. Parsons will kick from about the 20 when he gets his hands on it. Pretty fair kick. Theo Bell at the 29. Good coverage by the Bears. There's a flag down. Theo Bell is run out laterally across the field in front of the Tampa Bay bench by Todd Bell. The flag down, though. Let's see.
They may be calling it on Tony Davis, number 27. He's pleading with the officials, and apparently a call on Tony Davis. He was blocking on Dave Williams.
This game has really picked up tempo. It's beginning to hum. We're on a hot roll, Mr. Morris.
Well, I put some new tape on, got my pads on.
Yeah.
I'm all ready for this second half.
We got taped up at halftime. I feel a lot safer, don't you? The crowd sort of waiting for something to happen, and it's all happened in a great series with Tampa Bay driving down with the second half kickoff. Here's the call by Jim Tunney.
Illegal use of the hands, pushing the back. Number 26 during the run back. 10 yards, 1st down.
He said 26. I think he means 27.
At least Tony Davis was the one going through all the antics about it. There's Walter Payton waiting. Everybody's waiting. We got a 14 all tie in the 3rd period. Was it or wasn't it a Ricky Watts catch? We thought he got both feet down, but he may have gotten his hand down before the 2nd foot.
Well, let's take a look at it again. He does definitely have control of the ball. Now comes down 1 foot. Now his hand is out before it looks like his foot hit. It's one of those tough calls.
It's a tough game.
That's right.
A game of inches,
Nothing's
yards.
easy. Look at this one. Detroit 24-23 over a banged-up Minnesota team in the 4th quarter.
And in the Central Division, the 2 teams we're watching are in the Central Division. Tampa Bay in the eye from the 18-yard line. Doug Williams has gone all the way and has done a splendid job. 2-step drop back out to Gordon Jones. And Reuben Henderson has his hands full with Gordon Jones.
If you're going to call that play, that's a good time. On 1st down, you got more of a chance to get a man-for-man situation, and Henderson's been playing off quite a bit all day, so they may have been told. Here's that final score that we gave. Atlanta over San Francisco, 34-17. And look at this. The Cardinals, 40-23. Jim Hart was supposed to be back in there today.
Must have.
Cleveland, 2017 over Cincinnati, 4th quarter score.
1st and 10, the ball now on the 30-yard line. The Bear defense has got to begin to buckle down again. From the eye, this is Wilder, the fullback. He doesn't get much. In fact, he gets a lot of aggravation. Walterscheid in there. Hartenstein in there. Osborne in there.
Gary Campbell was in on that one, too, as we're going to look at a couple of more scores. Miami 16-10 over Houston. That game is in the 4th quarter. Miami was 2-0 going in. And Pittsburgh, the Steelers, 38-10. The Steelers were 0-2 going in. San Diego at halftime leads Kansas City.
The Bears have their nickel defense in. Harris is in and Todd Bell. Second down 7. No pass, though. Eckwood gets it. The tailback breaks out of the 40. And tackle, a good tackle there by Fensick. And Eckwood was heading for the sidelines.
I hope we get a chance to take a look at this because James Wilder has impressed me as possibly one of the best blocking jobs I've seen by a back in a long time. Watch 32 now. He's going to throw a block on, I believe it's 25, Todd Bell. He's going to throw the block right here to create the hole as Eckwood gets through and gets the yardage before he's finally brought down by Gary Fensick. James Wilder is going to get an A+ for blocking today.
110 yards for Eckwood on 20 carries behind that blocking of the fullback. First and 10 now on the 44. The Bucs are rolling. Straight play action pass. Williams going outside for Kevin House, who looks like he made the catch. But we'll wait this time. Boy, this is some good-looking receiver, Kevin House. He saves him. Williams saves him for tough situations.
Williams may have hurt his legs. You're going to watch the block there. They have a blitz on. Number 55 comes in. Good blocking. And then a nice hand catch by Kevin House. Is completely stretched out, maintains control, and it's first down for Tampa Bay. But I believe Doug Williams, is that Williams that had cramps?
That's Williams. He's either got a cramp or something in the lower leg. Oxley and the other training people from Tampa Bay are looking at him, but that's the franchise on the ground. John McKay will be out there very shortly.
Well, he was reaching back behind him a moment ago, rubbing both legs, which means it wouldn't be doesn't seem like a specific injury except maybe cramps in both legs and the calf muscles.
I told you that the training room in Tampa looked like something from a MASH segment on CBS. They had about half the guys were in whirlpools and not in uniform during the week. It's tough to play football when you're hit like that. Fusina's warming up, the former Penn State All-American, the quarterback. But Doug Williams is down. But it's a tie game, 14-all, and McKay continues to wonder. Doug Williams is all right. Looked like he took a couple of salt tablets standing there with Boyd Dowler, the receivers coach. But right now, Chuck Fusina, who has not thrown a pass in anger this year for the Bucs, a 6th-round draft choice 3 years ago. High formation handoff to Eckwood, who doesn't get much, just the line of scrimmage. Hartenstein there with Page. Fusina, number 14, looking over toward the bench. And now Doug Williams comes back on. A final score, Cleveland came from behind to finally beat Cincinnati 20-17.
So Cleveland will be 1-2, and Cincinnati will be 2-1.
Doug Williams just took one play out. Eckwood got murdered on that one run, and now the man is back in there. High formation. Tony Davis, the fullback. It's pass option, a big rush, and Giles catches it anyway inside the 20. Hartenstein or Hampton made the big pass rush, or Otis Wilson, was it, on the blitz? I believe it was Hartenstein that made the first contact, and I don't know how Williams stayed in there to fire that round.
Well, he held his ground, and he looked for Giles, who now has 4 pass receptions. He only had 2 total in the first 2 games. Let's take a look as Williams goes back, and you're going to see a whole host of Chicago Bears come rolling, and it's mainly Hartenstein, number 73, who put the pressure on, but the pass was gone, and it was Giles who made the reception, and as usual, it takes 2 to bring him down.
On the 19, first and 10, another great throw by Doug Williams, and he lived to talk about it. The throw set, little stutter step by Davis, cracks off the right side, not much. He tantalized you with the running game just enough so that the play action stuff works when Mr. Williams decides to deal.
And they had Gary Fensick right down in the defensive line that time. How'd you like to be a defensive back and have to play between the tackles right there in the pits?
Oh, that's why I'm up here.
There's a final. Miami 16-10 over Houston.
You think Don Shula can't coach this game? 14-all tie. The ball is now on the 17. It's 2nd and 8. You're looking for a pass. You're probably right. Eckwood and Tony Davis. A throw set with a slot to the top. Big rush by Hartenstein. Ball thrown away from Davis. Hartenstein, that time, I think Williams might have heard him coming.
Well, Dave Revis was blocking on Hartenstein. He had to come from the backside, and it's amazing how those quarterbacks can usually, they can feel, they can hear. They can hear those footsteps coming.
The vibes come right through the pads if number 73 is working on you. Somebody told me the other day that he does 100,000 pounds a day in the off-season lifting weights.
Not a day. You must mean during 100,000 in one day?
100,000 pounds. And they said when he leaves the weight room, the whole weight room is on the bar.
Does he do it in one clean and jerk?
11 for 24 for Doug Williams. A big 3rd down and 8 call here. Shotgun. He's trying to get it to Eckwood. He's throwing it for Eckwood. Intercepted by Walterscheid. Walterscheid comes up with a badly thrown ball. And the pressure was put on Williams again.
There's no question that was an ill-advised throw because you're throwing down into the coverage. This was attempted to be a screen. As you see the back come across, and he was going to throw a screen, but the Bears smelled it out, and Hampton had pressure on Williams, so he had asked Eckwood to turn up the field, and by that time, the safety came over, and it was then Walterscheid who made the interception to stop a Tampa Bay drive. Let's take a look at it from the ground action. You're going to see a back now come right behind the line of scrimmage. That's Eckwood, 43. There he is. He's running to the left of your screen, and Doug Williams wisely sees that the screen is no good. Then he asks Eckwood to turn up the field, and he should not have asked that. There's trouble.
Today, the Packers with JJ in uniform, I suppose, against the Los Angeles Rams, who may have Malavasi in uniform, and New Orleans against the Giants. But I don't think the Chicago market gets that.
No, because the blackout was lifted in Chicago. Chicago fans will only see this game.
Big interception, turnover by Walterscheid. 1st and 10 now. The Bears have it on the 16. Vince Evans looking at the 34. Head off to Suey. Spins and gets to the 20-yard line. David Lewis, the gigantic linebacker, nailed him at the 20. The 34, some people think the only way you can run against it effectively is to either misdirection or run right at the crack and hope that their linebackers don't put your people in the infirmary.
And a lot of people will trap against it if they think that the defensive ends play a wide defensive end. They feel they can get a trap, but so far it hasn't worked that way for Chicago.
With Leroy Selman out there, you better make sure you're trapped.
Yeah.
2nd down 6, 4-yard pickup by Seward. Handoff to Walter Payton, his first carry of the 2nd half, and doesn't get much, loses a yard and a half, quickly forced by Neil Colsey.
Neil Colsey is a little bit banged up because Payton saw him coming and he took him on, and they hit head on, and Colsey might have sprained an ankle or something there, but he made a tackle and he was across the line of scrimmage, and that's what's really stunted Payton. Wouldn't you agree? He's not getting to the line of scrimmage. He's been hit many times about 2 yards from before he hits the line.
Everybody says if you try to tackle Walter, do it early. Do it early to the run. Don't try to do it late.
Quite a difference in the rushing yardage here.
Slot formation to the top of the screen. Evans under a rush, but he gets away with it. He hits Williams in the outside. Williams gets almost to the 30-yard line. And a big pass rush came by Vince Evans right in the middle of that play. Brantley makes the tackle along with Billy Caesar.
Doug Williams, number 22, who comes in on the 3rd down situations. Evans spots the rush coming and just dumps it out to Williams, and he's able to turn his back. If you can turn around now and face the defender, then you've got a chance to get some yards out of it. And he saw him coming, then dipped to the outside, and finally it was Holt who made the tackle, and they bring him down, but not before Chicago gets a 1st down.
On the 30-yard line, Evans doesn't even realize what passed him very closely in that pocket. Here's a handoff to Walter Payton on the sweep. Payton over at some people. Oh, and pulls it out to the 40-yard line. Walter Payton is hot.
And this time they got the guards out in front. You're going to see Sorey and Noah Jackson. And Aaron Mitchell, you got to give him some credit. He had to take on 2 guards coming out. You're going to see number 45 come flying out from the left of your screen, and he knocks down all the interference right there. But Payton is so quick that he got outside and put that high step on there. Boy, has he got that high step, and finally the Buccaneers bring him down. But this is one of the few times he was able to get around the horn and have a little room to run up the field.
And I mean, drove 3 of those tacklers straight back to get to almost the 40-yard line.
He's got to be the most powerful 204-pound running back I have ever seen.
No star ever has handled themselves any better than Walter Payton. Somebody's down on the field.
Cecil Johnson is injured, and that would be a real blow to Tampa Bay if it's serious. They've had so many injuries. 79, they didn't have an injury when they won the division title. This year they've been loaded with them. The score remains 14-all.
There's Cecil Johnson, number 56. He's okay. Just shake it up. Quite a player, quite a person. 1st and 10 on the 40-yard line. The Bears now with 2 first downs in a row. Handoff to Walter Payton going to the right side. Richard Wood making the stop, picked up about 4 yards. Looks like they've torn some of Walter's uniform number away there on his right shoulder.
Well, the thing about Walter Payton that is so effective is that he is so great, and everybody knows his reputation, that people get tentative sometimes when they try and tackle him because they want to make sure they get him, and that's when he slithers away from you. You know how when you had a great runner, somebody like a Gallimore or something, you wanted to make sure of the tackle.
2nd down and 6 on the 44. 3:14 left in the 3rd period of a tie game. Suey straight ahead. Didn't get the first down. Pretty good effort up the middle. A short, stocky fullback with a much quicker start than you might believe. At 215 pounds, he's very low. Richard Wood making another tackle.
He's got a lot of tackles over the years, hasn't he?
Oh, boy. He just teed it up the first time Tampa wanted to have a football team and came in there and has played great football down for John McKay since John took the job. All right, 1 yard to go on 3rd down. The ball not yet to midfield. Short yardage, the fake, the play action pass. He's wide open downfield. Ricky Watts has it at the 14, 15-yard line. Make it the 19-yard line. Billy Caesar making the tackle. The ball was really thrown well.
Probably Vince Evans' best pass of the day. 3rd and 1. What a time to throw it. The fake of the handoff to Payton, and Watts just took off the field, and Caesar, number 44, you can see him reacting. He knows he's not going to get there, so he just concentrates on the tackle. Good hand grab by Ricky Watts. The Bears come up with a classic.
Ricky Watts can jump, too. He gets off the ground making those catches.
Now, he came from a tight position. He was like a wingback, and boy, he can move it out. It runs a 9.400, and that pass was nice, wasn't it? Right there. Woo! He juggled a little bit, didn't he? From this angle, you can tell he juggled it just slightly.
Ball's on the 18, handoff to Payton, swinging left. Oh, he's hit hard and drilled. I don't think Walter made the line of scrimmage. Those play-action passes only work when the running game is already operating at full speed.
I don't think Cecil Johnson was hurt too bad. He was the one that made the pop on that one. As you look at Ricky Watts, a lot of the players, did you see what he did there? He spits on his hands. You know, you can't use that stickum anymore, so you got to find your own stickum.
Just use saliva right out of your own mouth, right?
Right, you got it.
Your receivers are a dirty group of people.
In more ways than one.
That's right. 2nd down and 10. The ball's on the 18. The Bears are driving now. A little over a minute in the 3rd period. Slot left. Evans, a straight drop back. Payton stays in. That drops it off to Suey. Suey inside the 10-yard line. Cecil Johnson making the tackle.
Well, Suey was wide open. He came out late out of the backfield, and the Tampa Bay had dropped off. Suey is at the right of your screen, and he goes out and around. As you can see, the linebackers heading way back for their zone. And look at, they're so deep downfield that they have to come up and make the reaction. And I'm surprised they would drop that deep when they're so deep in their own territory. And as always happens, it seems like a team gets a first down around the 9 or 10-yard line, isn't it?
That's right.
Notice how often that seems to happen. That means they have to go all the way now in their 4 downs.
3rd down and 1 on the 9. Short yardage offense. This time the Bears will probably just get their first down. Evans gets close. Walter Payton is 2 yards short of that magic 34 yards that he needed today. That's how well Tampa Bay has played defense. 32 yards Walter has. There's Evans. Between he and Doug Williams, you probably have the 2 best athletes that are quarterbacks that maybe I've ever seen. Fast, nimble, quick.
Evans could have been a wide receiver without any problems. He runs about a 4.6 40. As Logan looks a little bit banged up, he's right there on the right on top of the center, and when everybody's coming right at him, as you look at John McKay.
McKay thinks he's running Mayo Clinic. It's a first down by about half of the length of the ball. The ball is on the 8-yard line. Boy, the Bear fans have been patient. 38 times this ball yard has been sold out in a row. And the slow start had them really staggering.
St. Louis beat Washington 40-30. That's the final score. And Minnesota rallied to beat Detroit 26-24.
Central Division is up for grabs. So is this game. A blitz from the
Quarterback
side.
draw.
Evans runs it inside. It's going to score a touchdown. They're checking to see if there are any flags. A quarterback draw. And the Bears go in front.
That was no accident. That was a planned play. Watch him just go back. Play off the center. Dan Neal, 52, takes the nose man. And then Evans, with good speed, goes into the end zone for the touchdown. The Bears have the lead. Now you see it from the ground level. Robin Earl got a nice little block as he dipped out and then downfield. And, you know, that thing opened up so wide, didn't it?
It's his first touchdown rushing this year. Last year, I believe he had 6 touchdowns rushing. First time that Evans has dented that magic barrier this season. Here's Nielsen's 3rd extra point attempt in his life in this league. It's close. It's good. Inside the bar, that's all they say. And the young man from Sweden breathes once again. I don't think there's any more pressurized position in football than being a kicker.
I'd have to agree with that.
You know, the quarterback perhaps, or the coach. The poor coach has a lot of pressure. You can see Coach Armstrong talking to the boys down there.
But you talk about pressure that is all of a sudden. In other words, you're sitting on the bench, on the sidelines, and all of a sudden, boom, it's all on your shoulders. Whereas a quarterback or a coach, you got the whole course of game, ups and downs. But for a kicker sitting on the sidelines, John McKay.
But a coach, you get the calls in the middle of the night. You know, where's my husband? You know, you have all kinds of personal problems, too. There's that final score that we just gave you, 26-24. Minnesota over Detroit. That's Evans' 10th career rushing touchdown.
I just spilled my coffee. I got the hot foot all of a sudden here.
Hans Nielsen. From Sweden, went to Michigan State for a while. It's been, as we told you, waived twice by the Bears and signed 3 times. He's having quite a day today. He's got some distance. Let's see. Pretty good-looking kick. Owens at the 7. James Owens with speed. Good coverage and doesn't get to the 30-yard line. Frazier making the stop. That's the end of the 3rd quarter. The score, Chicago 21, Tampa Bay 14. Now let's pause for a word from your local station. Some drive. The big play, of course, the 33-yarder on short yardage. The pass, Evans to Ricky Watts. 84 yards they covered in a hurry. Both teams are loading it up. The 4th period of play. The Bears on top now, 21-14. A trips left formation for Tampa Bay. There's Doug Williams back to throw. He's got time. Now he doesn't have time. Oh, he reloads it up and hits Giles at the 42-yard line. I don't know how Williams stayed in there long enough to get that one off.
He had to cock himself about 3 times. He started to fire, brought his arm back, started to fire, and finally shows how good the pass blocking was on that. They were around him, but they didn't quite get there to reach him. And finally, he hit Giles, who was wide open over the middle.
Giles played 3rd base, I understand. He was a great baseball prospect. You imagine him throwing that ball across the diamond, he'd knock you off first base, wouldn't he?
Yes, he would.
Doug Williams, 1st and 10 now for the Bucs on the 43. High formation, play action pass.
Wide open.
Down the middle. Kevin House coming across the middle and nobody within 5 or 6 yards. Fensick making the stop.
They're taking people downfield. Now, you're going to watch Kevin House come across from left to right. Notice how wide open the Bears' defensive secondary is because they take people down, then bring a man late across the middle, and he is wide open under the grain of all those defensive backs that the Bears have. They're, of course, now they're back to their normal defense.
Eckwood that time went through and tied up Coons, the middle linebacker, and didn't allow Coons to get much of a drop to help on it. Ball's on the Chicago 33. Tampa Bay is moving it. First down the eye. Eckwood inside. He's having a great rushing day. He gets away from a couple of people. Inside the 30. Let's go to Brent Musburger back in New York City at the sports desk.
All right, Tom Brookshier, less than a minute to go. Minnesota trailing Detroit by a point, but the Vikes have got the ball, and Tommy Kramer will go to the lone setback Teddy Brown. On the afternoon, Brown got 174 yards and scored twice, but it all came down to this field goal attempt by Rick Danmeyer. 7 seconds to go. A kick would win it for Minnesota. It's up and good, 26-24. Back now to Tom Brookshier.
We're back. Second down and 5 call. They're going to get the Bears for a late hit. Otis Wilson came up and stopped Eckwood for probably a 4 or 5 yard loss. And then somebody hit somebody.
There were a few words, and all of a sudden, Wilson pushed Eckwood, and they called a penalty right away.
Well, you can get a lot of penalties through the normal aggressive play, but that one has to be the dumbest call I've ever seen.
After the play was over for 4 or 5 seconds.
Personal foul after the play was over. Unnecessary roughness, number 55. First down.
The drive is alive. A good defensive play is ruined by, I don't know what you would call this kind of action.
Okay, now you can see the play is over with, and then he gives him a shove. Now, maybe Eckwood said something, but that doesn't warrant the pushing, especially when the officials are watching.
First and 10 on the Chicago 15. The Bucs just keep coming back. The play action pass, the big rush. Williams has it on the way, and it's just beyond Gordon Jones at the end line.
Safety blitz for the Bears. Gary Fensick put the pressure on Doug Williams, forced him to throw the ball too soon, and he just threw it right out of the end zone and avoided the sack. Good heads-up play by Doug Williams, and a good play by the defense. They spoiled the play, so both teams did well.
It appears to me that if you don't put pressure on Doug Williams, he might just throw you crazy because he's got good speed on the outside and at the tight end position. I think that the safety blitz and bring them all, the long and the short and the tall.
And the thing is about him is that he can, even under pressure, he can throw the ball with a lot of zing. He's got a little bit extra as far as strength and power in throwing the ball that most quarterbacks don't have.
Second down and 10. The ball still on the 15. The shotgun quickly going outside for Gordon Jones, and he has it and then doesn't get it outside. Reuben Henderson, pretty good coverage on a solo shot with Gordon Jones. You can see Gordon is not exactly happy with it.
Well, there's the frustration on Gordon Jones because he had it in his hands. Williams just took the ball and just fired, knowing that he had a one-on-one situation. The ball was there. He could not maintain control. It's up and over. What a nice pass. And he's got it in his hands right here. And then, as Henderson makes contact, he loses the ball out of bounds. Incomplete. It'll be a third down situation. And somebody is still down on the field, and I think it's Jones still there.
Jones, he's got something in the lower leg problem. Great coverage by Reuben Henderson, the rookie from San Diego State. But Tampa Bay still got the ball. Gordon Jones is trying to walk it off. But whatever happened down there in the collision on the try for the touchdown has given John McKay another problem because this guy is very durable.
Okay, we'll take another look at it and watch Gary Fensick, 45. He's heading for that corner. He's the man over there he knows where the ball is going to go. But let's take a look more importantly at what happened to Gordon Jones here. See if we can determine how he got hurt. Okay, now maybe Henderson lands on his legs as he goes down, catches his heel, I think. That might have been it.
The defensive back came down on his foot. He did walk off, so he's not badly injured. Third down and 10, a big play now for the Bucs. Shotgun. Theo Bell is in, and the catch is almost made by Eckwood at the 5-yard line. Todd Bell, I believe, was in there in the nickel defense, the rookie from Ohio State, and Eckwood had that momentarily.
The ball was there. It was catchable, and it would have been a first down for Tampa Bay. Now they have a fourth down situation.
Garo Yepremian has brought his tremendous bulk onto the field. Blanchard will hold. You say he has 20 or 30 hair pieces?
Yeah, he goes like, you know how you do when you go to get your suits. You just got a whole line of them in a closet.
All right, from the 22, a 32-yard field goal attempt by Yepremian, and it looks awfully good. A lot of time left in this fourth period, 12:23 to be exact. Chicago with the lead, but it's now down to 4, 21-17. For football, don't forget later on, Green Bay against Los Angeles, New Orleans, New York Giants. You will not see this in Chicago. due to the CBS NFL blackout law. Yepremian's short kickoff to the 7-yard line is Dave Williams. Oh, Dave is hemmed in at the 20 and drilled. 21-17. The field goal by Yepremian is 210th in this league. A career that's Miami to New Orleans to Tampa. It's pretty smart. I guess he's always been down south where the good weather is anyway. Good football game on a perfect afternoon in Chicago. The Bucs have just refused to stop, and they've got a brilliant quarterback. But Vince Evans now improving his numbers with a 21-17 lead. Hand off to Walter Payton. Payton gets outside, gets hit hard, and then really hit. David Lewis made the first contact, and Payton somehow bounced off of the 240-pounder and then ran into Cecil Johnson, who's only 235.
I'm sure the Bears are going to try and establish a running game now and try and eat up a little bit of that clock and get down there and get at least a field goal. Payton has not carried as many times as he usually had. How many carries does Payton have?
Payton had 3 yards on that carry. He is second down 7 now for Vince Evans on the 23.
13 carries for Payton.
11:30 on the clock. Evans back to throw. Drops it off to Suey. Fullback hit by those big linebackers, Cecil Johnson in particular, and did not get the first down. Richard Wood in there.
That's the same play where the Bears had a key first down on the goal line on their last drive, as you're going to see Matt Suey, number 26, right there in the middle of all those linemen, and he just comes out, and all the linebackers are way downfield, and that gives Suey some running room. He did not get the first down. They're going to be about 3rd and 2. Number 26, Matt Suey, finally brought down by Cecil Johnson. And Payton, by the way, has just passed Jim Taylor for 4th on the all-time rushing list, 8,599 yards.
Number 4, the handoff goes to Suey. Suey is close to the first down. Looked like he came out the other side and did pick it up. Dennis Lick with the big block. And think about how well Albrecht has been blocking on Leroy Selman. We haven't had many calls for number 63.
No, we haven't. Of course, we do know that he's been playing with that hamstring problem. As you look at the NFL's all-time leading rusher, as we just mentioned, Payton is into 4th with 8,599 yards, and he's only a 7-year man. Look at some of the others, 10, 11, 10, 9 years. Jimmy Brown didn't play all that long.
1st and 10 on the 32. Chicago now wanting to use the clock, but still throwing. Ball is almost spiked away, but Bashnagel has it. Bashnagel makes the catch and couldn't quite keep in bounds.
Boy, it's lucky for Tampa Bay that he stepped out of bounds, because Norris Thomas slipped and fell down. We might get a shot of that. It's just a simple down, short out, and you're going to see 41 down on the ground. Right there at the right of your screen, he had slipped, and Bashnagel could have gone right up the sidelines before he would have been knocked out of bounds, but he did go out of bounds, and it's a 2nd down and 5 situation.
2nd down and 4 or 5 on the 38. A little over 10 minutes on the clock. Evans, the draw play to Walter Payton. Those linebackers are so tough for Tampa Bay. Lewis and Logan, the big nose tackle, who has played extremely well in there. Kolar came under. He wasn't supposed to play. He has, a hip pointer, which is about the most painful thing you can have playing football.
They're not serious, but they are so painful. That's when on your hip, the muscle gets smashed against the bone and causes all of the blood to, a rupture in there, and it's very painful. Here's a key play, 3rd and 2, to see if the Bears maintain possession.
You must have been going to med school in the part-time.
I had one once.
3rd down and 2. 3rd and 2. The ball's on the 40. I formation, toss to Walter Payton. Finally hemmed inside the 45-yard line. He got out cleanly, and Cecil Johnson had to make the tackle. Cedric Brown did the right thing by saying, uh-oh, Walter is loose. I got to be careful.
Dennis Lick is down on the ground. He is hurt. Let's take a look. Suey leads the way. Here's the block by Matt Suey as he takes Kolar out of the play. That allows Payton to get around the horn. And now this time he's got the ball on the right side, right? He's away from the ball carriers, turns on the speed. Finally, Cedric Brown brings him down. He tries to strip the ball loose. Did you see the hand go in there? But Payton held on to the ball. First down, Chicago. As Dennis Lick is down on the field, he has injured his leg. The score, 21-17, Chicago.
Gary Ellis, the other Missouri fullback in this league, has scored on a short run, a 3-yarder, and the Packers are leading the Rams.
And look at this one, 35-28 San Diego in the third quarter.
Kansas City will stay close. They got a good defense. First down. Walter Payton on the sweep. Gets outside, makes...
He had Norris Thomas grasping for air. By the way, Dennis Lick is out of the game. Dan Jiggets has come in. We hope that it's not a serious injury. It was a leg injury. But you want to see a move, what you call a blue blood move. Here it comes. As a good block by Suey. Now here's Payton. Norris Thomas, 41, is going to come up for the tackle. Oh, what a move. Do you think he's going to be embarrassed when they watch the game films?
Not with Walter doing it. Colsey played it right by just trying to get Walter somewhere near the sidelines. The chains are coming out as Walter begins to hum like an expensive motor car.
It's hard to contain him for a whole football game.
He's stronger in the fourth quarter than most people are in the first. First down. 8:35 on the clock. The Bears trying to win their first game of 1981. Get off to Snyder against a Central Division foe, and the Tampa Bay Bucks are going to be tough late. They get healthy again, they're going to be rough. Robin Earl in at tight end. Baschnagel to the bottom of the screen. Ricky Watts to the top. Payton and Suey. Straight drive play by the fullback. Suey gets cleanly through the linebackers and gets to the 25. Andy Hawkins making the tackle.
Pretty good blocking by the interior line of the Bears. Soria, Noah Jackson, and Dan Neal right in the middle. Took it right up with Matt Suey. And of course, there's so much of an emphasis on Payton. Anytime you give it to Suey, you ought to be able to get a few yards because they key on Payton so much. And that time, with the action of Payton, it gets everybody stopped for a second, and boom, all of a sudden they had some great blocking in there, cross blocking.
Neal did a good job that time on Big Dave Logan, the nose man. It's second down 1 from the eye. Walter Payton gets nailed, and if he got it, he only got it by the ball. Tremendous defensive play by Leroy Selman and Hugh Green.
And Andy Hawkins got across the line of scrimmage too, and he busted up the block by Suey, and that kind of forced Payton to adjust.
Big play right here for either side. There's Selman. He wasn't supposed to play. I knew darn well he'd come out here and see what was happening and feel the crowd and say, Coach, I'm sorry, but I got to play anyway.
And you know, those hamstrings are not like broken arms where everybody can see where you're hurt. It's kind of one of those things that's underneath.
Short yardage offense. Cobb and Earl both in. Evans tries to get it himself. This is going to be close. It was 3rd and 1. Very, very close. Hawkins, Andy Hawkins, had Vince by the jersey.
It's going to be a little bit short, I believe.
It's no time to get timid when you're trying to win the first game. You need a first down. There's still over 7 minutes on the clock.
Well, here's a first really big key decision for Bear head coach Neil Armstrong. It's half a yard away or even less than that.
Well, if I got the best running back maybe in the history of this game, I got to go with Walter Payton before I'll go with the young field goal kicker that's never tried one.
Plus, it's a pretty long field goal. If he goes for the field goal, it's going to be at least 46 yards. So I would say that Neil Armstrong says, let's go for it, and he does. And, of course, if you got Payton in there, if you don't quarterback sneak it, you got to get Payton up and over the top, right?
Give it to Walter Payton and tell the guys, blow him out of there.
Uh-oh.
I don't believe he made it.
He did not make it.
And there's a flag on the play. I wonder if Vince called that play himself.
It's, I think they're going to call Tampa Bay for offsides.
Defense.
Oh, you talk about a key penalty.
And the Bucks have had plenty of penalties. That's got to be number 12 or 13.
I didn't see anybody jump. He said encroachment.
Must Just a lined up offsides.
Defense, left side of the defensive line. First down.
The whole left side. Automatic first. And I still don't like the call. I got to put Walter on a springboard and throw him into the secondary. 1st and 10 on the 20. 6:47 on the clock. The Bears with a 21-17 lead. High formation. Toss back to Walter Payton left. Walter making 2 people miss and then gets back into heavy traffic. Hugh Green got a good shot at it, and a couple of other Bucks. Logan got out from the nose tackle spot.
And that's what's so good about Tampa Bay. Did you notice he got away from 1 man, but by the time he could react to go somewhere else, there were 4 people there. I mean, they pursue so well, and they're so agile, the linebackers of Tampa Bay.
And they're so mean. Here's a note. Pat Hayden was injured and replaced by Rutledge for the Rams. Hayden's has left the field for x-rays. We don't know what he was injured or how he was injured, but he's out of the game for the Rams. 2nd down 9. Handoff to Suey behind Walter Payton's block. David Logan had him around the neck, and Suey must not have gotten more than a yard.
It was Logan who really made the play. He came right up over the center and chased it from behind, and an excellent play by number 76, Dave Logan.
Suey comes off. A slight boo from the rather partisan crowd here in Chicago. One of the great football cities in the whole world, though, I might add. They college, high school, pro, whatever you want to do, they'll come and see it.
Well, we have a throwing situation, or maybe a quarterback draw. Who knows, the way it worked last time.
3rd down and 8 on the 18. And Tampa will be coming. They're blitzing a linebacker. Here's the dump over the middle to Williams. Williams is going to score a touchdown. Cedric Brown, number 34, could not cover Williams. A perfect throw, a little soft, had some touch on it, and the Bears may have put this one out of reach.
Pretty good pass blocking. Nobody there. You're going to see Evans come flying out, coming across the field, and Cedric Brown missed the tackle right here. A nice move by Williams. He dipped inside and outside, and he has plenty of speed. Takes it in one-handed, too. Boy, watch it, David Williams. You might drop that ball. Touchdown, Chicago.
Williams, a good receiver. He's played tailback, off, run back down. Here's Nielsen's attempt, Mashnagel holding. The Swede got it dead straight. With 5:14 left, the Chicago Bears have opened up an 11-point lead. It's Chicago 28, Buccaneers 17. A lot of time left.
Suey ran it.
Sports Saturday next weekend, Roberto Duran against Luigi Minquillo. That'll be live from Las Vegas, 4:30 Eastern Time, 3:30 Central and Pacific, and it should be a good fight. Just watching Duran stalk somebody's interesting. Owens back to take young Nielsen's kick. It's a short kick to the 14-yard line. Gary Davis has it. Davis makes 2 people miss and gets to the 25. McClendon making the tackle on special teams for Chicago. He's made 3 tackles today. A short kickoff by Hans Nielsen, who's supposed to have long range. And boy, the coaches are yelling for that end zone kickoff these days. Scoring drive, deftly handled as Evans threw the touchdown pass to Williams. 80 yards and 13 plays. 5:04 on the clock. 1st and 10 for Doug Williams. High formation. Play action pass. Rush fumbles the ball, and the Chicago Bears have it. I believe Hartenstein comes up with the football. Osborne making the fumble happen. A big rush that time as the Bears didn't worry about the play action fake, and they went for Doug Williams. He's all right, but he isn't happy either.
And it was a straight 4-man rush, no linebackers. As you're going to see Williams go, Osborne gets by real quick there. Comes forward and gets a solid tackle. Williams trying to put the ball away. He jolted the ball loose, and then it was up for grabs. Dan Hampton, number 99, is there. And Hartenstein, 73.
Osborne recovered it, too.
Osborne, I think, ended up with the ball, so he made the hit and the recovery. That's not too bad. You get an A+ on that play.
That's a super play. 1st and 10 on the 11. The Bears using turnovers. interceptions, run backs the punts. Now lead 28-17. Handoff to Walter Payton going left. Nowhere to go. The big fella showed up. David Lewis in particular. We're told that Pat Hayden's injury, the Ram quarterback, is to his sternum, which is the breastplate on your chest. He is being x-rayed. See, I took kinesiology too. Second down and 12. Peyton loses 2.
They have brought Robert Fisher in, number 85, a tight end, and brought Robin Earl out. When Fisher is in, it's definitely a passing situation.
Slot formation to the right side. Bass Nagel and Ricky Watts to the bottom of your screen. Here's the draw play to Peyton. Finds a little hole and then is really tackled. The Bucs are a good tackling football team. Cecil Johnson in another one. 3:53 on the clock. Williams checks in. Suey checks out. Tampa has hit it a hard lick today, and they came in beat up and nicked, and they have played. Selman wasn't supposed to play. Kohler was injured. They've both been in there for every snap. Williams goes in motion. Third down and 11. Evans is going to throw it. Going for the slant. The ball was partially deflected, and I believe the defensive back rode up Williams, Neil Colsey, and the people were looking for a flag that did not come.
I think it was Cecil Johnson, number 56, who was dropping off. You see the pass, and you'll see it slightly deflected as it's heading for Williams, playing out of a flanker spot. He did hit him before the ball was there, but the ball had been deflected, and it was not going to be a reception. So
Hans Nielsen will try a field goal, a 30-yarder. His first attempt at a field goal. Bastingle gets the ball down.
they're going to call a roughing the kicker, I believe, on Tampa Bay.
I haven't seen the signal yet that the field goal was good. There is some debate. Jim Tunney and the crew will have to straighten this out.
The Bears have been arguing all day that the Buccaneers...
No good. The man was blocked into the kicker. No foul.
Now there's an official that takes charge of the game, and that's the way it should be explained.
Now, the rule states that if a man hits the kicker, but he has been blocked by a blocker and his course of direction is changed by that blocker, that he could break somebody's leg and not be called for a penalty. So that's the ruling there. And
Tampa Bay has 3-17, and they have a deficit of 11 points. And everybody tells you in pro football anything can happen, and believe me, over 20 years I've seen about everything can happen. First and 10, the ball's on the 20. Williams being rushed. Hartenstein didn't get him. Giles can't hang on. And Walterscheid almost made the interception that would have sealed this one. 73 put a big rush on, but Doug Williams can really stand in the pocket.
yeah, that time Hartenstein was coming. He got around Sanders, and you're going to see Williams get the ball just in time. Here comes Hartenstein. He actually gets a hand on him. The ball goes off of Giles, and Lenny Walterscheid is pretty tough there. All of a sudden, that ball's right on top of you.
Finsick was hitting Giles while he was trying to make that catch, too. Good hitters. It's second down and 10 from the 20. Single, double wing formation. Williams out getting time. Oh, overthrows Kevin House on the sidelines. Ball goes right into the Tampa bench.
They've got Sanders back over at the left tackle, and I see that Hannah's in the ball game. Let's take a look at this.
Don't forget, 60 Minutes, everybody watches that. I'm taping it, so I'll see it tonight. Archie Bunker's Place, one day at a time. Alice, and no telling what's happening in the diner. The Jefferson and Trapper John, M.D. With your knowledge of the human body, you might be on that show, Mr. Morris.
I'll take 60 Minutes.
Anytime, right? Third down and 10, 3:06 on the clock. This is the shotgun formation. Doug Williams running out of plays, going for Giles, overthrow, intercepted by Finsick. Finsick is going to run unmolested into the end zone, and the flags are down.
I think they're going to call Sanders 74. He moved a little bit too soon from his left tackle spot.
False start, number 74 offense.
And this is a penalty that stops the play before it is started, so that even though it looked like a defensive play turned into an interception, it wasn't a play at all.
False start, number 74. Whistle killed the play at the snap. Still third down.
Don't you like it when an official takes the game like this, lets people play?
Watch the left side of your screen. You'll see number 74. There he goes. He moves back. He wanted to get back for his pass block. After what happened to him the play before, Hartenstein got by him. He didn't want that to happen again.
Third down and 15 now. The shotgun. The Bears will begin to put on the pass rush. They got a four-man rush. Williams going deep, out of bounds. Good coverage by Terry Schmidt on Kevin House. Under 3 minutes. Doug Williams knows he's running out of plays and time now. He's a good-looking field general. The Bears have proved that inspiration does count, even if you're getting paid for it. Maybe that's why it counts more. But they have come out today and hit it a lick, haven't they?
Yes, they have, especially the second half. They had 2 long drives, sustained drives, that can give a team a lot of confidence. Vince Evans didn't really get started in that first half and seemed a little bit tired. He was off on his passes. Tampa Bay hung in there, and this game kind of broke open in the last 15-20 minutes.
Blanchard kicking from the 5. Fisher, the noted punt returner, fair catches it at the 46.
Now, I think he was under orders there probably to fair catch that ball. They said, let's not risk a return at this point. Let's just get the ball and make sure we can run it out.
Don't forget later, Green Bay, Los Angeles, New Orleans, the New York Giants. You'll probably join those in progress, but in Chicago, you will not see either of those games because of this contest.
New Orleans and the Giants. What will that be? 0-0 or 77?
It might be 42-all or zip-zip. 2 teams on the way back. Vince Evans now with 2:45 will try to keep the ball for the rest and take it home with him. Suey breaks through a big hole. Flags are down, and he gets inside the 45. Hugh Green making the tackle. These 2 teams will now be 1-2.
Defense.
In the Central Division. Minnesota will be
1-2.
1-2.
Detroit will be 1-2. And who's the other team? Green Bay. Green Bay could be 2-1 if they upset the Rams this afternoon.
This division is going to be a dogfight, isn't it? It always is.
Encroachment. Defense. 57. Decline. Second down.
And Green Bay is off to a 7-0 lead in that game. And with Hayden out, you might think that they would have a chance to pull off an upset over the Rams.
How would you like to have Jefferson on one side and Lofton on the other and try to figure out how to zone? Tight end's got to catch 100 passes.
That's right. You let the tight end go and just hope he drops it.
Second down and about 2 on the 45. Bears in control. Suey and Payton. This is Suey outside. Good little move. Manhandled by those linebackers before he or after he made the first down. Richard Wood standing him up. John McKay had said yesterday to me that he would rather not risk the long nagging injury to people like Selman and Hanna. He would rather, take a tough loss and play with what he's got than have an injury that might last 5 or 6, 7 weeks.
Well, of course, he took that chance with Selman. Now, Selman has, done himself proud considering he's hurt, but I don't think he had any sacks today or, he played a decent ball game, but maybe who knows, they might have been better off to let him rest for 1 more week and have him ready for next week. But basically what you say is correct. Most of the fellas, he has held some people out just so that they would get well.
I like coaches that worry about their players. We'll be back in a minute.
And look at this. That's priceless. Big smile.
Here's the situation. Evans talking to Neil Armstrong. That's Dick Stanfield on the headset, the offensive line coach. Evans has come back to really get it respectable. 13 of 23. The touchdown pass, of course, to Williams. The interception.
Williams was 13 of 33 for 249. Evans 13 of 23 for 126. So that's an average of about 10 yards a reception. So basically, they moved the ball in the air on the short pass with the backs out of the backfield.
And took advantage of those turnovers, huh?
Except for the Watts pass, the 3rd and 1 pass.
1st and 10 on the 42. 2-minute warning now is gone. Tampa's got 2 minutes to get 11 points. Long calling. Gasui, the fullback, who is being mugged on the far side. Cecil Johnson, David Logan, Lewis, about a ton. Some other scores. San Diego having trouble with Kansas City, and it's not over. 35-31. Has Levy done some job with the Chiefs?
Both those teams were 2-0 going in. Green Bay still leads Los Angeles 7-0, and if the Packers win that game, they would take over first place in the NFC Central. As you see, the Giants leading New Orleans 7-0 in the 2nd quarter. Hey, how about this? Denver 14-0 over Baltimore.
I wonder who's playing quarterback. Maybe Reeves is.
Oakland out quickly on Seattle, 7-0 in the 2nd quarter. Oakland was 1-1 going in, and Seattle also 1-1. As you look at Dan Jiggets there, number 62, a reserve tackle for the Bears.
An Ivy Leaguer, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He's also the Bears player representative.
Does he wear a helmet, or did he leave it back out on the field there? That's important.
Do they wear pads in the Ivy League?
They better wear helmets. The Honey Bears are having a good time. You have to understand, the opening loss was so disappointing that the crowd was stunned and the players were stunned. So I guess the Bears have a good reason to whoop it up in this city this evening and this afternoon. I'd like to thank my spotter, Bill Friel, for picking up all those linebacking tackles by the Tampa Bay Bucks. Pretty jazzy outfit. The Bucks, 1:52 on the clock now facing them. Evans being very slow about breaking them out. The I formation. Suey and Walter Payton. The toss back to Walter Payton. Walter getting outside again. Ooh, stiff arms. Norris Thomas took that strong left arm right in the headgear.
Boy, he has a strong straight arm, a la Jim Thorpe, or somebody like that back in the old days, like Johnny Blood. They used to throw that. I remember used to watch those when I was a kid. They used to throw that straight arm, and that's where...
That was the Three Stooges. I never saw Johnny Blood do anything like that. It's time to get the credits in because it's not a one-man or two-man operation. Terry O'Neill, our producer in New York. Charles H. Milton III. I can't believe what 1 and 2 were like. John Faratzis, our producer, and we've had a lot of fun with you, John, here in Chicago. Andy Kendall, our 6'4" director of note. I'm Tony 6'5", and the rest of the people that make it so much fun, I hope for you to be at home and make it possible for us to give you as good a picture of the game as we can. Some of those replays are going to be talked about, even though Chicago won. Did Ricky Watts have both feet in and his hand out? Was it a fumble or a catch? There have been some good ones today. But the 3rd quarter was a hot darn period of football, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. And the turning point was towards the end, as you see Walter Payton with 21 for 64. So basically, Tampa Bay has stopped Walter fairly well, about 3 yards per carry. Yeah. Usually, if you stop Payton like that, you win you win your football game.
Is this number 83 in a row for him, or 83, right. I believe?
83 starts in a row.
Starts as a running back. I think he's going to make it in this league. 3rd down and 7. 135. So he gets outside. Good tackle. Boy, those linebackers can tackle. That's Richard Wood. They tackle like little men, and they hit like big ones.
Did you see Payton throw a block on that one? He hit Dana Nafziger. I can never pronounce Dana's last name. It's so hard. Nafziger. He threw a heck of a block. You know, at the end of the game, a minute to go, most great running backs wouldn't do that.
He goes full out. Even in practice, if you take him out, he stares at the coach like he's a communist. You know, he wants to take every snap.
Hey, here's an update on that Green Bay Rams game. It's now 7-7 in the 2nd quarter.
Rutledge at quarterback for the Rams, having a few problems getting untracked. Theo Bell will be back to take what he thinks is going to be a punt. Tampa Bay is out of timeouts. They burned them all. 1:26 on the clock. John McKay still on the phone. And Corky, you didn't get to travel with John for this game, but your man's all right. He'll be coming home this evening. Parsons back to kick. Really kick. Going to hang it up and try to let it die inside the 10. Good coverage. He got it. Number 54 for the Bears was right on top of it. It was Cabral, good special team man, the Colorado linebacker, huh?
How would you like to be a minute and 16 left in the game, be down 11 points, and be on your own 2-yard line? What do you call, Coach?
Boy, you gotta get off some big plays in a hurry. Green Bay, Los Angeles, already underway, of course. New Orleans, the Giants. Want to see what Rodgers is going to do to the Meadowlands. A slot formation left. Most of them are lined up in the end zone. Man in motion is Kevin House. Williams going across. Theo Bell, who makes a good catch down the middle. Don't know how you do that against a nickel defense. Jeff Fisher was hanging on.
Well, Tampa Bay's out of timeout, so they can't call a timeout. They're going to just get a play. He's going to throw it out of bounds. Or
burn a play. Oh, he does it. Goes to Kevin House, who runs it out of bounds at the 45. 47 seconds on the clock. How in the world do you throw one right down the middle against the nickel?
Well, he threw one. He netted. I started to say threaded the needle.
Netted the threedle.
The threedle. It's a good thing this game is almost over. Kevin House, plenty of speed. 138 yards receiving the last time these two teams met.
It's turnovers. That's how the Bears have lived today, and that's how you win football games. A 28-17 Chicago lead. Doug Williams back. Big rush by Hampton, but it's picked off. Kevin House takes it and steps out. The Bucs keep coming. 36 seconds, 35 seconds. He didn't get out of bounds. They're moving the sticks. It's hurry-up time. Doug Williams runs a pretty tight ship. Now he's going out of bounds with it. Kevin House tried to catch that one. Doug almost had to say, take your hands down. 2nd down and 10 on the Chicago 32. The numbers on Doug Williams. Pretty classy young man. He's really handled himself well. I felt so sorry for him in the championship game a couple of years ago when the Rams jumped all over him and hurt him before halftime and he had to leave. But I have a feeling he's going to be in some big games down the road. Large indeed. He can take a licking in that pocket, too. He's tough. 2nd down, 10. You know he's going to throw. He's going deep for Kevin House.
Chance.
In and out of the hands. Schmidt had pretty good angle, but the ball went on through. I don't believe House knew how catchable that was.
Well, right in the old breadbasket. Schmidt did swing his arm right in front of him at the last second, which he might have possibly deflected the ball. But I'll tell you, you talk about a pass. He just took off the field. Schmidt has got outside position. He has the ball all the way, but the ball was deep enough. He took the leap, and did he touch it? Looks like he did slightly deflect it, and that makes it tough. Boy, that was close.
Kevin House, he runs on that carpet. He doesn't even make a noise. He is quick. Big pass rush by Hampton, and somehow Doug Williams gets it off and completes the pass. Wilder, the fullback, caught it, and how did Williams get it off? 6 seconds left. Chicago hurrying to get back on sides. It's over. Williams tried to get the ball out of bounds. What an effort by Tampa Bay, who was really hurt coming in. Now Bears win their first one, and it's tailgate time at Soldier Field. There goes the coach, Neil Armstrong. He's got to be happy. Chicago 28, Tampa Bay 17. This is Tom Brookshier for Johnny Morris saying so long from Soldier Field. It's been a ball, hasn't it?